afternoon, good morning, good evening. When the righteous rule, the people rejoice. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the first ever Gbkm FM temperature room. We are going to be dealing with what is happening politically from Edo State. And we have assembled the best minds all over the world to join us today to discuss the Edo State governorship political temperature on Gbkm FM. Before we proceed, special thank you to all our sponsors all over the world. This show is sponsored and brought to you by Simi African Food. They are located at here in Toronto at number 50 Eddiston. They have a lot of African grocery, but there are two best African grocery, which is Simi African Grocery and the rest. This special program is also brought to you by Andrew Enofe. Are you looking to buy a house? Are you looking to sell a house anywhere in the world? Contact Andrew Enofe for great price and great high price when you are selling. The third person that is a partner that sponsored this program is Dr. Loretta Ogboro. You see the books that are floating on the screen. The book, it's called, I believe, My Father, My Daughter. I just ordered mine, but I've heard a lot of review about the book. Check that book out at Amazon, where you can get it, and many other platforms. Having said that, I believe I've spoken the mind of my sponsors today, and we can now go to the nitty-gritty. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a whole lot of people joining us today from different part of the world. We have eminent men, eminent women joining us today, and we are going to be discussing a whole lot of stuff when it comes to Edo State politics. Let me put on the screen all of us as we have here. I have Dr. Loretta Ogboro all the way from UK. Doctor, can you please say hello to our people all over the world?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm actually driving or being driven actually, but for the sake of Edo State, I am here.
Thank you very much. We couldn't really hear you. I'm not sure what exactly was with the audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, try again. Maybe we'll hear you better now.
Nice to see and speak to everyone. I'm actually being driven, but for the sake of Edo State, I am on this program, being driven or not.
Thank you very, very much. We have also Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown is from Toronto, Canada. Dr. Brown, please, can you say hello to our people and kindly introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Brown, Hige of Gbkm. We're here today to have a positive conversation moving forward in Edo State political spectrum. We do hope it is productive, and we have one or two things to learn from each other. God bless.
Thank you. We have all the way from Lagos, a renowned journalist, all the way from a very, very special station to my heart, Precious Omoroyi from Alegbete TV. Precious, how are you today? Please, I know I have attempted to introduce you. Unmute yourself and see how you can best introduce yourself to our viewers all over the world.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you clearly.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Precious Amori. I wanted to say reporting to you live from Lagos. I'm here in Lagos, Nigeria, and I work with Elevated TV, radio, an online TV platform here in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you. We also have here the Archbishop of Activism, all the way from Europe. Sir, please can you introduce yourself to our viewers all over the world?
Good everyone, wherever you are watching us from. This is Comrade Newton Menegun, the Archbishop of Activism. By the grace of God, the CEO of the International Association for the Improvement of Colored People, #equality. So we are here today to see how we can build our state, not killing it. I live here in Spain by the grace of God. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We have also with us, guys, it's a full house today. Nobody can say that it's not going to be the best. We have with us Alessa, all the way from Benin City. Mr. Alessa Brahima, please can you officially speak to us and introduce yourself to us, please? Okay, while we are trying to get him, I have my brother here, Mr. Uyi Osunde. Uyi Osunde, I was going to attempt to introduce you because I know you very well, and I kind of have a little bit of background of your achievement, of what you have achieved. Please, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Good day, everyone. This is Uyi Osunde, and by the grace of God, the gubernatorial aspirant for 2020 Edo State Governorship race under the platform of African Action Congress, AAC.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad, but I think we lost our brother Alessa. I'm not sure what happened. Once again, our people at home, you all know how hard it is to deal with this technology, but we're going to do our possible best to make sure that we are able to manage. Who have I not introduced? Did I miss anybody yet? So I don't think I have missed anybody so far, and if I have, I want to beg you to forgive me. It's not intentionally. While we are waiting for our brother in Nigeria, I want to quickly start with the video that was trending, and I want to analyze it. And I would also like, I wish my brother is here to talk more about it. I would have preferred that my brother Alessa, but it's not here. But we're going to run this video now. When we watch this video and then we're going to talk about it, I'm going to start with brother Uyi Osunde to tell me his opinion about this video we are going to watch. While our people at home is also watching, we are going to be taking notes and taking questions from people at home. So enjoy this video. While we come back, we'll throw more light on it.
You don't record yes. Under whose she asked me to bring it. So can I give it to you? To give to you? I mean, Pastor Joseph should send me here. Wait, madam. Who are the leaders? Who are the
On the social media space, and allegedly we have been told that this some political party are already sharing clothes and a return of PVC. Now, before anybody can weigh in, Brother Uyi, I know you run for a political party, AAC. You were an aspirant. I want you to weigh in on this one.
Well, thank you very much for wanting me to come in here. Well, my brother, this is nothing new. This is nothing strange. This is a common thing. This is a normal thing that has been happening in Nigeria political landscape from time immemorial. So this is what we know. And this is the politics. When they tell you this is politics, a dirty business, when they tell you politics is a game of number, this is what they mean. When they tell you, we will show you how to play politics, this is what they are talking about. This is part of what they mean. And these are one of the reasons people like us wanted a change of the status quo. But we have a very, very long way to go in changing that status quo. Vote buying costs across board from the two giant behemoth political parties in Nigeria. So this is what we are going to be seeing. This is just the beginning. You are going to, before and after the election, you are going to see more videos, more pictures of things like this. This is what Nigeria has been experiencing from time immemorial. That is the reason we are in a mess. That's the reason we are in a state of quagmire. And it will take us, you and I, taking a very strong stand to make a change in this kind of action.
Brother Newty, I know you are very vocal when it comes to social media space. And I would like you to comment on this video. Have you seen this video and what's your take?
Actually, I for one, what I see here is that I see Esau and Jacob program. I call it Esau and Jacob program. You know, we are very familiar with the Bible. If you can give me a biblical latitude, please, the book of Genesis 25, verse 30. Esau were coming out from the farm and he met his brother Jacob that he saw in Bethlehem. So the best thing we expect to see in a society where a lot of people no longer value what they have, you know, is what you are seeing today. So this is another way of people selling their birthright they don't know. Imagine you are mortgaging your future just for a rapper. You need people to call it a balanya, that is 1.5 or 2.5 or thereabout. And these are people who have already know what they feel when the wicked is on power. That is in the book of Proverbs 22, precisely verse 2. He said, when the wicked buried with the righteous, they suffer. But at the end of the day, these same people will go to church on Sunday. They never knew that they have just defined their faith, they have denied their faith, and they have sold up their birthright. So they are expecting somebody will come to them just the way Esau and Jacob illustrated it in the Bible, like what I've just quoted, that somebody will tell you, sow your birthright. No. Logically, they've just sold their birthright. And I can say we are still trying to put Iran into a square hole. We are still living in the 1999 Constitution when we started our democracy. But we have grown above that. That's why a lot of us today, people like me, who is a renowned artist, we have put ourselves online to make sure we educate our people the essence of good governance. And this is what we saw in Obaseki. If you can also give me a biblical latitude, Obaseki, his governance is spiritual. If you look at the book of Genesis, precisely chapter 1, verse 3, he said, let there be light. And Obaseki, and some of us say there must be light. But I don't see where these people get this idea from selling their vote and campaigning for whosoever that come out from their church. I, for one, I'm not a politician, and I will never be a politician. So I would like to end it there for the now, as we proceed.
Thank you very much. You eloquently put it in the Bible way, and for some of us that are not biblically inclined, how do I put it? It's a little bit hard for us to catch along those Bible verses. However, I want to go to Nigeria and go to Precious. Precious, I know you were here. I'm not sure if we lost you. We wanted to know what do you think about a video like this that has been circulated in the cyberspace?
Okay, can you hear me now? The truth is, we can blame everybody and anybody for that particular video that went viral. But the reality is, in this part of the world, especially in our states, those states, a lot of these people lack education. Some of the, I will boil it down to education, because some of these women are market women who sell in the market, in the streets. They have no idea. It is what you sell to them. When you sell a particular product to them and tell them this is the style of which things are being done. And that's the thing they've seen in the last few years. They are already used to it. Until we go back home and there is a change by educating these people and telling them this is not the way things are supposed to be done. You don't need to share rapper, you don't need to share money to do campaign. When you do a good job, your job will speak for you. So what these people need is education, to be educated about how campaigns should be done. These women are not educated. Yes, some of these people have kids who are educated, but the kids are not communicating the right information to them. So if you still bring wrapper and bring soap and bring water and bring anything as gift items, they will collect it because they think at the end of the day, when you get into power, they don't get anything. This is the only time they can get whatever they want from government. So they take it. So everything boils down to education. They need to be educated about elections and campaign as it is. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Looking at that video, it makes some of us to bleed in heart, and it is quite troublesome. The philosophy of social justice and change begins with the people, and the people needs to realize that a structure that does not work in the interest of majority of the people is as a result of the people not doing the right thing, which beckons on lack of inspiration, beckons on lack of awareness. And we as a people, we have to understand that you do not necessarily need to give out money to share your vision or to woo people over to your side to share your vision. If you have a vision, spell it out, put it out there, and let the people run with it. If you have to start giving people money, buy their voters, vote for them, because they are being disadvantaged, they are in a situation whereby economic factors is responsible for some of the decisions that they make. That is something very, very, very troublesome. And we have to try to, but there's a need for orientation. There's the need for sensitization. We as a people have to understand that things cannot be done in that manner. First and foremost, it's a campaign violation. It violates the law, both the giver and the taker. And we have to be able to come out of that mindset of trying to buy into people's conscience in order to get their vote. And the people need to understand that if they say their vote, then they have become a part of the problem, which we all are, and we have to be able to work out of it and figure out the best way to get this done in the interest of the kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am very positive that you have spoken well. I'm going to quickly go to Dr. Loretta. Again, I want to stress the fact that we really appreciate the fact that you are able to join us, even though you are on the road, if you can hear us. But, you know, they say that people that are hungry and you have the bread, they are easy to be swayed. So do you think that, how do we tackle this when people need money and somebody is offering them money to sell their conscience? I'm speaking in regards to the video. I think she's frozen. I'm wondering if she can hear us. Can you hear us? She's a little bit frozen. So while we are waiting for her, she's on the road.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
And police are in Edo State. Before we go and discuss that, we have a lot of glitches happening because we're trying to pull all this together from different parts of the world. I'm going to show the video, and then we're going to talk about the military personnel that are currently deployed in Edo State. It is trending right now that there are a lot of military personnel as we speak in the state, police, and so on. And there is a cartoon that was just released, which says, spoke about the same military personnel, how we cannot send people to tackle Boko Haram and so on and so forth, and we have those military personnel and police currently in Edo State. Now I'm going to go straight to Brother Newton. Brother Newton, do you think those police and soldiers that are currently in the state right now will work to the advantage of both parties in the election ground?
So what we have been hearing is just that it is very painful that most of us that are so glary, we find ourselves in this kind of a precarious position. That there are a lot of things we can't really say right now because we are somehow handicapped. Now, there have been several news here and there that this one is going to deploy, this one is going to deploy this. Like the news are out there, like the cartoon you just display right now, they were killing in South Kaduna. How many troops did they put on there? What did military personnel do in the two states? And we have also heard that a lot of them, they are being falsificated. That is, they came in as in, we have also a news how one of our brother were sewing, trying to buy military uniform for people just to ring election. Then if you begin to check this whole thing, personal selfish interest is too much. And none of these people really want well for the citizens. That's the problem. Let's take a look at Bola Tinubu. We didn't hear a video that Tinubu did and condemned the killing in South Kaduna. We have never heard one day that there is conflict happening in those states that Tinubu came out and he tried to put in peace. So he called himself that he's a Democrat. This is where we find ourselves. And not until we unite together, I don't think we can solve this problem. But our earnest prayer is that what God has revealed concerning Edo State election, that it come true. But what I'm saying, we are seeing things not really going well. And we thank God that we are able to channel this insecurity in our country. What will be happening in Edo State, the international communities, they are aware. We saw right now in social media that US have already started banning most of our politicians. So this Edo State election is going to prove that, yes, whether we have a true democracy in Nigeria or not, we are going to define it on that very day.
Thank you very much. You have mentioned some stuff that is very, very, very sensitive here as to the very election we are talking about. I believe we got Mr. Brian back now. We got a couple of people back now. I'm not sure what's really going on with the network, but I think we do. However, let's quickly talk about. I want to go to Brother Uyi Osunde. You were an aspirant and you wanted to become the governor of Edo State. Do you think the police and the army that we have in the state currently would serve the interest of both parties, both leading parties?
Well, as it regards to the current patrol of police and military personnel in the state, I can assure you that it is a show of force, a show of power by both parties. Because now let us be factual about this. I represented AAC. There are other couple of political parties that are involved in this election. Nobody is talking about them, but the whole thing has boiled down to two political parties, which is APC and PDP. Now, the PDP is boasting of the federal power. They are boasting of federal rights. And the PDP, the Governor Obaseki, is the chief security officer of the state that work pari passu with the state commissioner of police. So now what is happening right now is a show of force. The governor of the state has no power over the military. Now the presidency is trying to use the military to kind of oppress or to show that they are in control of this election. Why the Obaseki camp, the little power he has as this chief security officer is trying to play to the commissioner of police and the AIG of police in Edo State that he also needs police presence. So this is what you're seeing. So it's like the police is for the PDP and is the military is for the APC. This is, and on the long run, it is the common man on the street that will be terrorized, that will be brutalized, that will be dehumanized. And that is a fact. And it is not a common, it's not uncommon. It happened in Ekiti. It happened in every other state where they are having single election that is scheduled outside the general election. So it's happened. So right now it is the turn of Edo State to experience the same madness. So my advice is this: we already know the game they play, and this election is not different. It's not different. It's just that the Edo-lites are a little bit more intelligent or more resilient, more concerned, rather than some other states where it happened before. They may not be able to manipulate as much as they did in Ekiti and Osun State. They may not be, because Edo State is a peculiar state. So let us see what happens. But we know that the common man is going to be at the receive the brunt of this operation. So that is why everybody have to be wise. They have to be cautious. They have to be careful. Don't let them use you. Don't let politicians make you a scapegoat. Otherwise, you will have yourself to blame.
I want to quickly bring in Alessa, because we lost him in a big part of the conversation. I know that he was having a little bit issue with his mic. I'm sure he can use it now. Alessa, do you think the military and the police presence in the states will favor any of the party, both party or any of the party? And if yes, why? And if no, why?
Well, I'm so, I don't know how to use the word, maybe disappointed with the comment I just had from the last speaker here. I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
I'm so disappointed because sometimes when people want to bring out points, you don't look at it from a biased point of view. If you have been following the incidents in Edo State for quite a number of time now, you realize that the political atmosphere has been so tensed. It has been so tensed. Even when you are talking about the governor being the chief security officer of the state, even without election, the political environment has been tensed. Considering the spikes of several incidents, We have on tapes where the governor have issued several threats. We have on tape where the governor have used so many derogatory words against opponents. And the people the governor have used to unleash this mayhem are thugs. We recognize the fact that immunity, the governor has immunity, the deputy has immunity, but the thugs does not have immunity. If the government, the federal government have to see that they cannot attack the governor, they can't attack the deputy, but other persons who they are using to cause those mayhem, they need to be in play. Other people have to be there to checkmate them. If the governor has in his hand the police, and there is no way an opposition can tell the commissioner of police or the AIG to do this and do that. It is not possible. The best thing we should do is to beg the federal government, please, provide adequate security for us. And when they were bringing security to Edo State, they brought police, Air Force, Army, different police, different.
So where is your disappointment there?
My disappointment here is that for you to have directed it to the fact that those government is in charge of police, the presidency is in charge of military, that the common man is going to suffer. Come on, they are there to protect us. They will want them to protect us so that we can vote. We don't have problem with going to a polling unit. So somebody like me, I wouldn't have the confidence to go and vote before. I wasn't having the confidence because the government has totally posed threats in the state, so that a common man like us, we are scared. But with the presence of these things we are seeing outside, by God's grace, we are on ground. We are seeing all these things and we are happy. We are happy that they are around. If I don't have a mindset of doing anything dangerous, I have not nurtured anything negative, I have a free will and a free mind to go there to go and cast my vote and return back to my house or stay within an approved parameter in that vote polling unit to monitor my vote. There is an approved parameter. You don't say the presence of police protects the governor's interest, the presence of army protects the APC interest. It doesn't work like that. That statement, honestly, I'm disappointed.
Mr. Brown, I want to bring you in from the human rights perspective if you are still there. We have a heavily police present and the military police present right now in the states, and we all have Boko Haram issues. Yeah. We have Ondo, I think Ondo State on the 10th election is coming. We have many issues on the in the country happening right now. Do you think we are over-policed for this purpose?
I want to tell you this. I want to give an answer to this. If you look at the present situation we are in now,
Alessa, hold on. Hello. Hold on, Alessa, hold on. Let's Dr. Brown weigh in first, and then you come in. Dr. Brown, go ahead.
Yeah, I was. Thank you. I was going to say that there's a huge disappointment in the system due to lack of transparency, due to lack of accountability. There's a huge mistrust between the state and the people. Now, when you have so much police presence around the place, the question would then be, whose interest does it represent? And coming from the perspective of the disappointment and the mistrust between the state and the government, becomes, between the people and the state, it becomes difficult to you to actually, for sure, say the police presence represent deterrence for violence. It could be also to motivate the intention of special interest. We are in a very critical situation in our country and across the world, and we all have to be careful. The idea of we as a people trying to point fingers at each other and thinking that one political party actually represents the interests of people is a myth. We have to get out of that thinking and understand that we as a people, the way forward for us right now, it will be ready to stand up for righteousness, stand up for justice, stand up for fairness, stand up for equity. Otherwise, we're going to be in a problem for a very long time. Now, if we have to look at it from a different perspective, we don't necessarily need a police presence during election. But you did say that given the present political dispensation and the uprising in the society that has to do with Boko Haram and the rest of that, is it necessary? It's a very difficult argument to make because we don't know, because there is mistrust. The government has been so untruthful, has been so very, we cannot believe the state any longer if they actually mean security for the people when they speak security. Because sometimes someone like us is forced to believe that politicians are only interested in their security, not so much the security of the masses. They do not care if people are going to die. As a matter of fact, politicians are probably interested in turning people into criminals and then turning them into dogs and throwing bones at them to be fighting at each other in order for them to continue to maintain their political position. We as a people, we need to come out of the shackle and take the bull by the horn and realize that these people, these politicians that we try to make excuses for whatever reasons, they're not there for us. They're not there for the people. They're there for their special interest. And the way forward is something that I believe that we should be debating. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see the Archbishop of activism nodding his head while you were talking. I'm wondering if you want to butt in. Anybody can butt in right now. You're going to mute your phone, your mic, and can butt in any time on this one.
Actually, I won't like a situation whereby we begin to take it personal. I can see one of our brother there is becoming too aggressive, and you don't need to take it personal. Uyo Sunday lives in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. He have a good life here. So whatever opinion we make here from diaspora, we know what we are doing. I'm 18 years away from home. So the kind of system they are practicing there in Nigeria, I will not be a part of it. That's why my own activism is very rugged. It is very, very rugged. So I don't mind whatsoever it may concern. And we're talking about Obaseki, talking about trying to impose violence and all of that. What brings about Tagan Lion? What brings about Tagan Lion? But I would want us to start taking it personal. Because even though if at all we are being given money, including me, I'm not trying to personalize it to you guys, is that how much did they give to you? This tension you are going there to go and face on Saturday, their children will not face it. God, let us put this thing on our shoulder, not in our head. I know you love your principal, you want to do anything for them. But we are the real Democrats. We stay on the line. If you read the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 17, it says, let the elder that rule well be counted of double honor. That's why whatever thing I'm doing, it is scriptural. If it is not scriptural, I don't say it. There are a lot of debate I was invited. I was never interested. Why? Because I don't want people to talk under emotion. If you must build Nigeria, or we must have a true democracy, we must have to always state the fact. That's the best way we can do it. If a youth is sounding like this, supporting this, I'm not here campaigning for Obaseki to become a governor. I'm here for good governance. If you are a governor tomorrow, I can support you.
But Dr. Brown raised one opinion that is very alarming. He said the government cannot be trusted. Now, when you have the center, which is the federal, and you have the state, which is the state governor, and it's somebody is saying that the government cannot be trusted. Anybody can explain what we are talking. Are we talking about the federal or lesser? Are we talking about the federal or the states? Because the question here that brought this discussion is, who is this police and military presence going to benefit? Because we have a lot of states and a lot of issues where the attention is needed.
We cannot, please let me just finish my statement. We cannot really clear right now because they are not be trustworthy. That's why I quoted that 1 Timothy 5 verse 17. And thank God, Nigeria is a Christian nation. We claim it. We say we know God. And if we know God, we get to know his word. He said, let the elder that rule well be counted of double honor. So if anybody is saying anything from his own perspective, he knows what he's doing, like what Brother Brown just said. I will say about the ideology. We don't know who they are there for. They are there to come and satisfy their personal selfish greed. It is not like that. How many troops did they send to Sata Kaduna? Have they been able to fight Boko Haram to a standstill? Are there not kidnappers everywhere today? So what are we saying? Instead of we coming here having problem with ourselves, Let all these things with a good mind. Like what is written down in the book of Philippians 2 verse 5. He said, let this man be you that was also in Christ Jesus. That's what I always but stress. Anything I'm doing, if it does not matter to God, I don't talk about it. That's why I'm not having interest to even become a politician. Because the very day you become a politician, they lie effortlessly. The video are out there. That's why I'm a part of the activists to believe on. I will quote you by what you say, what comes out of your mouth. So that's it. So it is not clear to me that they are coming to come and protect so that there will not be mayhem in Edo State. They are coming to come and satisfy their personal selfish greed. We all know how it functions. We all know, if not God has stood by Wike, we all know what happened in Wike. We know what happened in Ekiti. We know what happened in Osun. So it has been like that. But the thing is just that whosoever that share innocent blood is in the book of Genesis 9 verse 6. Whosoever that share innocent blood, that person will get pay for it. Because you are coming to come and kill God's own children. And it was also written in the book of Exodus 20 verse 13, thou shalt not kill. That's why I stand under the authority of God. Whosoever that have the mind of causing mayhem in Edo State, he will not live to see children. And that is my stand. If we cannot correct this situation, if nobody can correct it, we are done.
The representative for Gbkm TV, Precious Omori, is right in Lagos. And I also know that Alessa is right in Benin. I want to start with Precious. Precious, as you are in Lagos and an indige of Edo State, a hard-working lady, a journalist that is doing, you are doing your beat. Do you think the people of Edo State, having the president that we have now, the military and the police, do you think they feel safer?
First and foremost, the country is not safe, even with the presence of military men and policemen and all of that. But the reality is, for every election, we also will still need the presence of these people. Not basically because some people are saying, yes, that these people are there to protect their own interests, they are there not to protect their own interests. First and foremost, the reason we have security people is to protect the lives and property of individuals as Nigerians. So for me, I think that these people are there to protect the life and properties of Nigerians who want to come out that very day to come out and vote. It has nothing to do with personal interest. Before now, we have police, soldiers, whatsoever, going to different states for different elections. So why is Edo State on different? Why are we making it personal? Sometimes I just feel that this election is becoming more personal than a public affair. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much.
So, if you don't mind, could I respond to...
Go ahead.
I think Precious just mentioned that before now, we usually have police presence during elections.
Yes, we do.
Sorry?
Yes, we do.
Okay, yeah, but the question is, whose interest do they represent while they are there? That is the debate, because, like you see, it becomes very difficult for us to believe anything that comes out of the mouth of our government, because our governments are not truthful. And perhaps they have good reasons not to be truthful, because the people are not ready to hold them accountable. Like some of us are going to come up here and try to some of their wrongdoings. It's part of the reason why they are not truthful, why they do what they do, because we try to make excuses for them.
Exactly. When we talk about the government, we are the government. We put these people into public.
Yes. I'm trying to
if we are not accountable because we all sit down here and blame the government. We make up the government. We come out every day.
No, we don't make
Precious,
up
that's not my argument.
No,
Precious,
we don't make
up
the government.
Precious, I'm not saying that the government, I don't belong to that school of thought that the government needs to have everything done for the people. I don't belong to that school of thought. I'm a human rights activist. And by the special grace of God, we have so much to talk about, and perhaps we'll have a lot to learn from each other. But the point I'm trying to address from your presentation is that we have always had police presence. But I'm saying that I differ, because the police presence that we've always had is there to protect special interests. That is the problem. We don't have the police presence because police are there to ensure peace and security. That's not why they are there. You would agree with that. Let us not kill each other here. And
if I may come in,
Yeah, Mr. Hold on. Uyu Sunde, go ahead before I go to Mr. Uyu. Go
Please,
ahead.
let me quickly say this, especially for Precious and my brother from the APC. Now, electoral process is a civil process. We have civil defense in Nigeria. We have peace corps. We have police. We have the highest presence should be the police in any electoral process. Even the police should be very, very minimal. You see, they have succeeded in turning the whole atmosphere into a war zone that they need to bring the military and to bring heavily fortified police officers to come and protect, or in quotes, the or protect electoral materials. Now, this is Nigeria. We have precedents. Under normal, during the general election, we have how many police officers are deployed to each state. How come during this particular election, the amount of officers deployed are 10 times higher than the normal police officer deployed on the normal general election?
I'm going to butt in here. I'm going to butt in here. Alessa, I would like you to come in here now. Two questions in one. You are currently in Benin City, Edo State, and you are live in the feed right now. Now, two questions in one. First, do you see, based on what you see right there now, we're not there, do you see and do you think it's safer because of the presence of the police and the military? And secondly, why do you think this very election will need excessive military and excessive police presence?
Okay, let me come in like this. When PDP was doing their flag off, it was so obvious that what happened at the palace the other day was a big shame to the entire country. That very day, it was more like a double event that day. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
It was more like a double event that day. Captain Osa was going to the palace for the birthday naming ceremony of a new prince that was given birth to. When those kind of persons, when they are going to places like that, you know, people shut them up. Everybody have a fan. People shut Captain Osa up to the palace. On getting to the palace, they were outside the palace, sharing Captain Osa, singing praises and everything. As they were doing that, unfortunately, the governor's convoy came. Immediately they drove into the palace. The governor saw people in front of the palace. He was thinking that those were his people. He came out from the vehicle in front of the palace. He was raising hands on them with a mindset of coming to share them up so that they can hail him in the presence of his entourage. Not knowing that the people that were there came with Captain Osa. On sighting the governor, they started shouting, Opaseki Ole, Opaseki Ole, Opaseki Ole.
Not true.
The governor went in. No, let me tell you, I was there now. See, I just left Europe to Nigeria. I left day for yesterday. Do you know why? I need to tell you this because I was there. Sometimes you people staying abroad, you are fed with information from social media. You get information from the likes of Bambas. No, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you, I was there. Allow me to talk. I allowed you. You see, I was mute when people were talking. I was mute. Let me say it the way it is. When the governor left the palace after receiving prayers from the Reverend Oba, he called, I don't want to say he called people to come and unleash mayhem on those people that were booing him in front of the palace. Immediately the governor left that place, they came with gun. We cited it, we saw them. I have videos recorded on that event. Immediately the governor left, they went there to shoot those. Till date, my brother, if in a state where we have CSO, Chief Security Officer, which is the governor, we have not been able to point one person that shot in front of the palace as at now. We have not been able to bring out one person that shot in front of the palace. This is a state, and you want to tell me that there were no police presence at the palace that day? We had police presence at the palace. Nobody, they could not indict one person that this person, this and this.
Now,
this.
by
at the end of the day, Mr. Man,
what you're saying?
Like this.
What
is coming like this.
You-
And
you-
it is
you-
necessary.
you-
It is
you
necessary
have
we have a
recounted
good police and military presence.
The
Okay.
risk
Let me come in
situation
this way.
No.
Let me come in this way.
This was in the palace that particular
I'm
day.
telling you the reason why. I am telling you the reason why we need police presence in those states as it stands now.
In thousands.
Now, if situation like that have happened, let's forget the number.
When there
Forget
is
the
war,
number. Let's not be
they don't
ideal.
deploy. And nobody see anything wrong with that. Sasa Kaduna uploaded it on my page. The women
Have
came
you
back
ever been in the front of war?
no
I
thousand
was in Sata Kaduna last 2 months. I was in Sata Kaduna last 2 months. I this of thing. Some of you. The reason why I respect myself when it comes to critical discussion like this is because I had a challenge with what you said before. I had this challenge. You were making reference with the way it is played in the Western world, in abroad here. I had that same challenge with some persons. I told the person was making a statement. I told the person that no, you people are in abroad. We have a commissioner that was arrested over there in abroad. How come you guys are not helping us to investigate what's happened? I was doing this. The guy challenged me that we that are in Nigeria, we talk anyhow. We think it's just easy to go and just do information like that and do this and do. I said, come on. But I thought it's a civilized world. If that place is a civilized place, it means you have opportunity to go sort information for yourself. These guys were using derogatory words on me. That was what led to me, myself. I'm the one talking here. I went straight. I first of all got to France. When I got to that place, they gave me scenarios of what happened and everything. I came to the place he was arrested, and I got a lawyer, and I paid for that lawyer. At the end of the day, we got a valid information on the arrest of our commissioner. What are we bringing? Some of you out here, you don't know the sacrifice we have paid. You just think because maybe this is a small boy, one small boy, is just saying things. No.
Let me ask you one simple question.
Nobody knows. Nobody.
How many protests have you went to?
All right, guys. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, on this note, we're going to quickly pay some bill.
Forget about protests.
On this note, we are going to quickly. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. On this note, we are going to quickly pay some bills. When we come back, we're going to talk more on how and why the presence of the police that we have right now in the States. I want to say a very big thank you. You are watching the Gbkm Temperature Room live and direct, a big discussion going on here. And we have a lot of people commenting online. We're going to go online, also read those messages. But when we come back, we're going to talk about what happened between the APC and PDP and what leads to decamping. I'll see you on the other side. Don't touch that dial.
Do you know who you are? What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alone. Just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I disperse in this verse, no apology. Memorize to keep you from evil theology. For you, the darker hue, you denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. You cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Do you know who you are?
Welcome back to Gbkm FM. They said that when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. You are now in Gbkm FM Situation Room. Ladies and gentlemen, we have everybody tuning up the temperature today. We have people from Nigeria, which is Lagos, Benin, UK, Spain. We have brothers and sisters keying from everywhere and chiming in. Before we went on break, before we even touch what we discussed on break, a special shout out to our sponsor, Simi African Grocery. Simi African Food is located at 50 Eddystone here in Toronto, Canada. We always say there are two grocery shops in Canada. There is Simi African Grocery, Simi African Food, and the rest. And a special thank you to Andrew Enofe. You want to buy a house, you want to sell your house anywhere in the world, look at to Andrew Enofe and check them out at their website. You can also email him at osasandrew@hotmail.com. There are more tons of information there. They have representative all over the world. They can sell and buy your house. And guess what? When they are selling your house, they're selling a higher price. When they are buying for you, you buy in a very, very lower price. Special thank you to Dr. Loretta Ogboro. Thank you. Thank you for sponsoring this show. Check the book. Check the book, My Father's Daughter. It's on Amazon by Dr. Loretta. Beautiful, beautiful books. Check it out. Once again, I have our people here, and it's fun, and I'm glad the way this is going. You can tell that we have people that respect each other, people that talk with respect, people that value each other. I want to start from my top. It would be my top left now, and it will be your top right at home. Brother Newton, please, can you introduce yourself again to our people at home?
By the grace of God, my name is Comrade Newton Gbkm, the Archbishop of Activism, the CEO of the International Association for the Improvement of Color People. We are here for better governance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And on the next, Benedict, I want to say, brother Uyi, please introduce yourself for our brothers at home and sisters.
Good day, everybody. My name is Uyi Osunde. I'm a gubernatorial aspirant for Edo State election 2020 under the platform of AAC.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was very, very eloquent. We proceed now. I have my brother Brown, Dr. Brown, in the building. Doctor, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. My name is Brown Ehige Osevige. I'm from a very humble Christian family, Edo South, and a human rights activist based in Toronto, Canada, as well as the president of an organization, hashtag Edo United Movement. I have a background in criminology, I have a background in psychology, I have a background in social legal studies. I also have a background in international and domestic human rights. And I have a passion. I have a passion for justice. I have a passion for freedom. I have a passion for equity. Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much, man. Against that backdrop, I would like to also ask our sister here, my dear sister from Gbkm TV, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Precious Omori Ose. I'm a co-founder of GF Media, owners of Gbkm TV. I'm also the Chief Operating Officer and an online TV presenter. And as well, I'm a volunteer teacher, teach in different government schools here in Nigeria. And I work with BKDF Foundation, is an NGO in the northern part of Nigeria as the media and publicity head. Thank you very much.
That's very, very, very eloquent. Thank you. It's good to have a teacher on board. I have my brother here now. I was speaking with him the other day, and I believe he was on the plane flying to Nigeria. And as we speak, he's live and direct in Benin City. Alessa Brimo, how are you today? Tell us a little bit about yourself for the benefit of those that are just joining us. Brother Alessa, all yours.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Lassa Brimo. I was trained as a telecom engineer, and by God's grace, I'm a farmer. And apart from being a farmer, I'm a politician. And by God's grace, I'm one of APC member of strategic committee and also media representation in this election. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. As you can tell, we have a little bit of here and there covered. Now, we were talking about the presence of the police, and we have a lot of people have weighed in. We have a lot of comments online. If you are watching on Gbkm TV, you can also comment. If you're watching on Facebook, do not forget we are live 247 on our web TV, www.gbkm.tv. We're 24 hours. It's live there. We're also live on all our apps, on Instagram, on YouTube. We are live in all our social media platforms. Having said that, now we spoke about the police presence. There is, Alessa, before you left, we spoke about the video, and I want to give you that benefit to weigh in. We talked about the video that is circulating on the social media where we found some people wearing a POI cap sharing some, I will say, materials, fabrics in exchange of PVC or so on. Have you seen that that video? Because I am having some.
I don't know if you can show me the video. I think it's not. Let me reconcile with the one I have.
Okay, there is a video here, and I'm just doing this because we have a lot of.
They were exchanging. Because your statement says they are exchanging PVC for rapper.
I think they were on the video. It's on the video on tape where people were taking notes and writing, I believe, identifications.
It means I have a video like that. The one you are talking about, I have a clip like that. I want to let me tell you something. What happened there? During the course of our campaign, as you can recall, I followed them throughout the entire local government campaign in Edo State, and I started the word-to-word campaign 3 days before I came to. I traveled to France for a special investigation and other inauguration of our diaspora here. The issue with that video is this: when the governorship candidate of APC, Professor Idi Aize-Iyamu, was going around the local government, in each of the wards she went to, she told the ward leader to produce 10 persons in each of those wards for a special package, because there's no way what we have will be enough for her to share for all those women. Normally, it happens in every campaign. So the best way we could do it, they sent down the 10 names. When they sent down those 10 names, each from all the 192 wards, we have to take they documented those names. And for you to show that this name belongs to you, this name is your name, you must come with a proof. Likely, you must have a PVC, because we can't. When we went to that place, of course, the criteria for us to get our numbers or to identify yourself must be a valid ID card. So they came with their PVC to cross-check the name that was sent from their ward. So that was what led to them showing PVC there. And they take the PVC from there, check the names. If their names are there as it was sent by their ward leader, they will give them the money and the wrapper, which is normal. And everybody, it's not something
no. Let me come in from your explanation. Anybody can board in here. I see people waving their head. Some people nodding their head. And this is a free discussion here. We had to bring this back because there were emails and people commenting that there were nobody on the APC side to actually come in and defend it. This is why we brought it back. Brother Uyi, I see you shaking your head. You just came from Nigeria. You were in Nigeria for 10 months. Tell us your findings based on his explanation.
My people, whether this explanation is correct or not, assuming that explanation is correct, it is still a mess. It is still a mess. Political system should base on merit. Electoral process should be on merit. When you begin to share when you begin to share rapper, share money, to whether they are your party member, whatever, it is already inducement. It is already inducement. There is no way you can explain this away. Unfortunately, like I said before, it is not only peculiar to the APC. The way it's happening in the APC is also happening in the PDP. We should be ashamed of it. It's not something that we should defend. I'm sorry,
Brother Newton.
Please let me. You know, I want to advise Mr. Uyi on something. I'm sorry to say, I think you're not really familiar with the politics of our state. I don't want to talk about advancement. We have to be political. We have to do this. We have to do this. Let me tell you, Oga, if you are not satisfied with the kind of politics we are playing in Nigeria, please, you can contest in whichever country that you think you are comfortable with their politics. It is not.
Hold on,
let's be telling ourselves truth. If I go to a place, I have a way. No. No, let me tell you. Let me finish talking.
That is why I contested. We want to change that system. That system is messed up system. We want a change of the system.
How do you intend to win this election now, Oga? What are your strategy? What are your strategy to win this election that you said you contested?
It's not about winning.
I'm going to allow Precious. I'm going to allow Precious to weigh in. Then I will allow the Archbishop activism to come in. Precious, what is your findings based on Alessa's explanation?
First of all, I will actually say that I'm not a an APC member and I'm not a PDP member. I'm in support of good governance, and that's what I stand for. The reality is, like I said earlier, and I think we still forget, when you go to every country and every state, there is a style and method at which you do election.
Really?
America, in Europe,
Yes.
every part of the world, they have
Every part of the world.
style. They have ways that they do elections, that their elections and campaign are being carried out. Nigerians, specifically in Nigeria, we are used to a particular style of giving out items during campaign. It has been a culture for
And we
more
should
than
continue like that.
decades. Sir, please hold on. Sir, please hold on. It has been a particular thing that has been going on for decades. It cannot change overnight. That's why when you learn something, you unlearn and relearn a new thing.
Improve. Yes.
So when you are talking about relearning a new thing, it would not change automatically. It would take you starting from the local government chairman, from you contesting as councillor, not starting from being a governor. You have to start from the grassroots. Changing that style of the way campaign or elections are being done in Nigeria cannot happen overnight. And I'm sure that's why you are still not part of the people who are contesting as the governorship aspirants. I'm sorry to say that.
Job of the arbitration of activism. My question to you is very, very clear. The fact that they are saying that it's been like that and blah blah blah. That's the culture. That's the system. Does that make it right?
I said sorry to cut you short, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt your discussion. I never said it was right. I'm telling you that it has been something that has been practiced for a long time.
If it is not right, when do we change it?
It has been a culture that has been in existence for a long time.
And
so it will only take a gradual process. Most of these people who come out to vote are in villages. Let's not forget that. Most of these people who are coming to vote, who actually really go out to vote during elections, are not educated. So they need to be sensitized that this is not the way it should be done. And it cannot be done in just one election.
Now, if I may
tell you the truth, that rapper was just
election. You have to start sensitizing them against the next election. That's how things is done. You don't impose a new system to during this election. It can't work. That strategy will not work.
The democracy, not the new system that was imposed on.
Now, I'm gonna butt in now a little bit. Just guys, let's take it slow now. Let me go down to one of our activists here, our brother here, Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown, sensitizing people with rapper and etc. on the election time. Do you believe or agree that they should be sensitized why those people are elected doing their job? By way of doing their job, that should be the sensitivity they should be receiving, or the giving them rappers and money on the election day. What's your take on this?
Thank you so very much for letting me in. I bleed in my heart that some of us still try to make arguments for things that should be abolished and should not ever be mentioned. You know, there is a need for total revolution and sensitization. The idea that you have to give people a rapper to sell your vision to them. Let me not use the word sell your vision to them, is to probably compel them to buy into your agenda. But I don't think they have a vision, because if I have a vision,
we are all products of influence.
Yeah, if I have a vision, I will spell it out there, and people will run with it. I don't have to compare people or to induce people to buy into my vision. You know, so the idea that it's been like that, and we'll eventually grow out of it. That is how it's always been. It's not something that we have to in any way try to encourage. It is wrong. It is unacceptable. and we must not encourage it. Nobody should
Can I come in?
give money to earlier while you were speaking, sir. I didn't interrupt you, if you do not mind. There are some of your points I would actually like to address, because it's kind of staggering, and we as a people, we are the one that makes politicians to do what they do, because we make arguments that encourage them along those lines. And we do not also realize that we have the power to prevent it. And the power to prevent it is actually what we should be talking about. We are not at the stage at which we have to defend the politicians. We are at the stage at which we have to hold politicians accountable. Because politicians are there to protect their financial security. They are there for their own political power. And there's corruption everywhere. There's a gentleman that was trying to interrupt this. He did say that there's somebody that did something in the West that has to do with corruption, that people that lives in the West often like to point finger at Africa. We understand that you cannot eradicate corruption completely, but you can reduce it to the lowest extent possible. You can't have people practicing corruption with immunity. And that is what we have in our society. It's because we as a people allow them to do it. And we do have the power to prevent it. And that power to prevent it is what I'm so much interested in. We have to be able to refocus the conversation on issues that is important, on issues that will contribute to a society that will work in the interest of every single person, not special interest. Having military minds all over the place, having police officers all over the place, buying people's voters, by giving money to people to convince them to to vote for you, giving them wrapper, is madness. It's all madness. And we have to be able to, we don't have to encourage it in any form. It doesn't matter what political party we belong to. So in a nutshell, let me not deviate, because this argument, sometimes if I have to dive in, I probably have to go broad. And the deeper we go, the broader I get. Maybe let me try to figure out how we can narrow it down. We as a people cannot normalize immorality. It's not acceptable. That is the way they've always done it. That they give them money to vote. No, that is not acceptable. We should condemn it, Precious. We should condemn it as a people.
Speaking just now,
we have to stop now.
If I'm reading the body language of Mr. If I'm reading
I want to address what Dr. Brown is saying.
If I'm reading the body language of Alessia,
please, I think I'm sidelined here. I was supposed to be speaking by now.
Yes, that's where I'm going to.
By 7 Spanish time.
Yes, that's where I'm going to. I think if I'm reading the body language of Brother Alessia, I see that he wants to say something. But before we do that, let's do it in reverse. I will allow the Gbkm of activism to weigh in, and then I'll give the next audience to our sister from Lagos. Then you can wrap that up, Alessia, before we move to a different topic. Go ahead, sir.
Please give me biblical latitude, please. John 11, verse 35, it says Jesus Christ wept. And as I speak right now, I weep in between my spirit. You know why? We are living an era, when we are growing up, we said the youth is a future leader. I'm surprised for a youth to identify himself as a politician instead of identify himself as an activist. Then who is an activist? He's a person that campaigns to bring about political or social change. That's supposed to be the work of a youth. I think I'm very devastated. In short, I faint within myself. Then how are we going to have a better society? Now, during the time of Moses in the Bible, a lot of things were done. If you want to go for atonement of sins, you use them to another order. When Jesus Christ came, he began his ministry, a beginning of a new era. That was the New Testament. Biblically, if you read the book of Matthew 4, verse 17, he said, and Jesus began to speak unto them, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And that's what this youth supposed to be talking about. But I'm so surprised, and it is scary that we have a generation to come who are making themselves available, supporting Tinubu and the rest of other people who never mean well for them. We are supposed to be a generator to this generation. But reverse is the case today. If you watch it the way I go explain that video, I did not castigate anybody. I use a biblical reference by kind of advising the both sides, the reason why they must not have to sell their vote. Now,
we have that video line up.
In this exalted platform for a youth to come out and defend all these politics, in short, that is, I don't think Nigeria will be great again. We shouldn't defend it. Any youth that they define himself is a member of this party. I'm not a PDP. I support good governance. That was why when Somebody was arrested, I know how many activities I did.
I'm going to come in this way, guys. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath, guys. Let's take a deep breath. This is beautiful. I understand the different angles that we're all coming in. I want to give the only lady in our midst. I don't want people to be writing us and saying that, you know, because she's a lady and she's not a lady. Please, lady boss, can you chime in?
Like you said, let's all take a deep breath. All the fathers in the house and all the uncles in the house. Before, let me use a relativity theory to actually explain this. It takes a man and a woman to meet to actually form a child or a pregnancy, and it takes 9 months for that child to be born and for that child to come out of his mother's womb. It takes another longer process for that child to go through being a toddler, to being a teenager, to adult, and all of that. This thing that we're talking about, I am not saying, please quote me anywhere, anytime, any day. I am not in support of people sharing power or sharing whatever they're sharing. But I'm saying that this is a culture that has been on ground. You cannot just wake up and tell a child who already is, you cannot tell somebody who is already studying a particular course and just come and tell the person that, sorry, you cannot study this course again. Except that person will go back and write JAM again, especially if you're in Nigeria, and write WAEC for that person to change his or her course. So what I'm saying is, we need to start sensitizing people now. You cannot, these people that they're already sharing wrapper for, cannot receive wrapper has been given to them. What I'm saying is, from now till the next election, let us start sensitizing all of these people, our mothers, our fathers, the other people, because most of these people are the people actually who come out to vote. Let us start sensitizing them on how things are supposed to be done, the normal thing that is supposed to be done, not the one that we already know. That's what I'm saying.
My sister,
there's a misconception here. Mr. Uyi, if you don't mind, sorry, I'm very sorry to interrupt anyone. I would like to respond to my lovely sister, Precious. I do understand what you're saying, but I think there's a misconception in your presentation. We need to establish a premise in order for us to actually understand what we're talking about. I think your argument it looks like a link towards the people that are accepting the rapper. That's not the issue. I understand that those people need to be sensitized I understand that those people accepting has to be sensitized and made to understand the phenomena of life, and even if they do accept it, how to be firm on their convictions. But I'm actually more particular about the people that are giving it out. I think that is what the conversation is about.
I'm sorry. The people who are giving it out does not have the plan to change. That's what you should know.
But if you make the argument,
the only way this can change is when the people know that it is not the rapper you give me that proves you worthy of being the next governor of this state. It is the work you do for we the people that will determine if we will vote for you as the next governor of the state.
But I think what we're talking about,
we have had these same politicians for over 3-4 decades. They have still been the one. It's just like a
But overall, let's.
Sorry, Mr. Uyi, do not mind. Mr. Uyi, do not mind.
Instead of blaming the politicians, you are blaming the electorate. The electorate, they are aware, they are sensitized. It is not they that is demanding to be given rapper. It is not they that is demanding to be given money. It is the politicians that is bringing out money. It is the politicians that is pursuing the electorate with rappers. So they are sensitized. When the politicians know the right thing to do, when they stop giving out money and rappers, the electorate will not collect.
Now,
Okay, I think I'm struggling here.
Sorry, when you're talking about the politicians actually collecting and being the one giving out these rappers. I'm sorry I'm cutting you short, Dr. Brown, I'm sorry. If we're talking about these politicians giving out rapper or giving out whatever they're giving to these people, these same politicians, the truth, we are all deviating from the truth. They know that these people will actually need this petty thing. Oh, rapper, I could give them rapper. Sorry, in my word, I'll call it see finish. Them don't see us finish. So the only way, and these people have been there for a long time. People like you who want to contest for governor in this election that have not won, that's not going to actually be voted for or during this for the next September 19th election, should start sensitizing people and telling them that that is not the way it should be done. Because trust me, people will still collect. We are the masses. Let me use the word. The masses are the one who vote these people into power. They did not put themselves there.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Even in 10 years' time,
if you will.
At this point, guys, at this point, I want to move to my brother Alessa, because this dwell on your island lots, because you're on ground right now, and we spoke about it, and you come very strong as to in defense of this. Now, do you believe that being sensitized is a way of changing the way it is? I want to believe that we all agree that bribing, corruption, buying votes is nothing that we should be part of. Now, having said that, we call it sensitivity, sensitizing it. Do you think that's the way forward to get the change that we so desire?
Okay, before I respond to that, I want to quickly say a little line. The man who said I identified myself as a politician, when I introduced myself as a telecom engineer, he did not make any comment on that. When I told him that I'm a farmer, he did not say anything. He only picked the part where I said I also play politics. But thank you. Everybody have the right to accept whatever they want to accept. That one is by the way. Looking at what Dr. Brown said, and Mr. Uyi, I don't know, we are all product of influence. Nobody on this earth is self-made. If sorry to say, if the people who gave birth to you, for example, sorry to say, if they were stupid, most likely you must take that risk.
So I'm going to jump in now. I know you apologize. Let's try and maintain peace. Let's try and use words that will not be irritating. Go ahead, and I would like you to take that back before we proceed.
Okay, if we stay in an environment, for example, an environment where you have a group of elites, of course you are going to pick something from them. We are all product of influence. Those people you say they collect rapper, I could recall growing up as a child. I grew up in a rural area. When they're doing election those days, they used to bring things to that area. Oh, to that place has automatically become GROE. As I speak now, this rapper they don't longer share rapper within that area anymore. They now take it to the Yekoriyomo. And what are we talking about? In life, there are always progress in every development. Until you get to those people, they will not realize that what they are doing is wrong. And I wouldn't say they are wrong, and I wouldn't say they are right. Because, for example, if I need a vote, if I identify the areas where I will get a vote, I'll go and give one. Those people sharing rapper are not sharing it in GROE. They are not sharing it in the town. They are sharing it. Where they know those people will vote, but they need to be induced. Sorry, I am not supporting it. But the fact that if I need elections, if that method will make me become a governor, come on, I will do it. I will do it. Okay. So
all right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I want to say thank you very much. We're going to quickly.
Let me round up. let me round up. During those days, voters card, we have a paper card they use in identifying somebody that will vote, just a sheet. We transcend from there to our normal temporary photocopy voters card. From there, we got to another one that laminates. Now we are using PVC. These things we are talking about now, they are trends of development. Even as I speak now, as you are voting, there's a feedback server taking it to a feedback. So it's a trend of development. Same thing happened to those people. Those people that are collecting wrapper, time is coming, they can't share wrapper in that area again. They have to still take it deep to people who are not aware that wrapper and other things are not the reason why they should vote. If that is going to guarantee me success, I will do it. And every other person is doing it. And it's exactly what they are doing now. Don't get it twisted.
Thank you very much. On that
Thank
level,
you.
we're going to quickly go on a commercial break.
Sorry, can I come in quickly?
Before you come in, we're going to quickly go on a commercial break. We need to
this
build.
topic is nauseating. We should just change it, please.
We're going to quickly go on a commercial break, guys. Okay.
No, we have to talk about it. No,
hello, guys. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Hello, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you. Are we all here?
There are way RTV speaks. If you watch it today right now, the only person that is not in line with what we're saying is the person that is a politician here. So that's why I'm wondering, because I'm talking here, it's not as if I'm supporting Obaseki. We are not raising Obaseki's praise here, rather than how we are going to cause a change in our society. We want hygiene.
Now, talking about change, talking about change, we're going to quickly go, we're going to change a little bit now and go on a commercial break, pay the bills. By the time we come back, we're going to talk about the trendy video of Gbkm, aka Gbkm, Mr. Tinubu. There are rumors saying that he want to be the president 2023, and the video he made, he spoke explicitly and directly, some people will say interfered in our political process in Edo State. When we come back, we're going to see how our opinions are differ and what we think those who are for the video and who are against the video. Do not touch that dial. We definitely see you on the other side.
What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alarmed, just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I disperse in this verse, no apology. Memorize to keep you from evil theology. For you, the darker hue, you denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. You cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu want to appeal as a committed Democrat and a leader of all Democrats, regardless of political party, to our conscience and our commitment to democracy today on the forthcoming election in Edo State. I want to appeal to you to reject Godwin Obaseki in this coming election.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For those that are just joining us, you are in Gbkm Temperature Room. My name is Kenny Bazwaye. This show is brought to you by Simi African Food. They are located in Toronto, Ontario. There are two grocery, there are two African food store in Canada. There's Simi African Food and there's the rest. And also a special thank you to Andrew Enofe. You buying a house, you want to sell a house anywhere in the world, they got you covered. They are rep all over the world. They are professional and they are on point. And a special thank you to Loretta Ogboro. Get the book, Mine, My Father, My Daughter. I think the book is called. I haven't read it, but I have seen the reviews and I'm about to read the book. Order it on Amazon. Special thank you to all the sponsors. You guys are doing a wonderful job. I thank you. I can't thank you enough. And thank you all the people listening at home. If you are watching on our Facebook, do not forget Gbkm is live 247 on our web TV, www.gbkm.tv, on our web radio, www.gbkm.tv. gbkm.fm. We're also live on our YouTube, Gbkm TV. Follow us on Instagram. Wherever you are, share, like. Support us so we can keep on doing what we're doing, get better, and bring it to your doorstep. You know how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have all our brothers all over the world joining us today. It's been the temperature has been so tense, just as the name is. The temperature has been so tense. And you heard it. Reject Obaseki. That's what Jagaban said. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome all my brothers here today all over the world. I have Mr. Newton, Brother Uyi, Brother Alessa, all the way from Benin, Precious Omori from Lagos. I have Dr. Brown from Toronto, Canada, and I myself is here. Now, having said this, anybody can jump in. Reject Obaseki. I want to start with Dr. Brown. What do you say about this, well, I say interference?
Sorry, I didn't quite get your question. Did you say reject Obaseki? I didn't see the advert, I'm sorry.
The video that was running, that is trending, there is Tinubu, a former Lagos State Governor, a.k.a. Jagaban, appealing to Edo State people to reject Governor Obaseki. My question is this. Is it an interference? Is it? Or
Can I come in here, please?
Go ahead.
I don't think it is an interference. Jagaban, Bola Tinubu, is a Nigerian, and Edo electoral process that is currently coming up is a Nigerian affair. Everybody, as any Nigerian, has the right to comment or to support whichever side of the divide, or whichever. It is within his constitutional right to support anybody he wishes to support. Especially the fact that he's also an AAC leader. He's a leader of the party. He's even a sponsor of the party. He's even a sponsor of the candidates, one of the candidates in the election. So he has the right to speak. But where I have problem with him, is in his, saying that he is a Democrat. He is a Democrat. And that word has been bastardized to a point that it becomes meaningless. And anybody is now a Democrat. A dictator now is a Democrat. A fascist is a Democrat. A capitalist is a Democrat. Everybody is now a Democrat. That is the problem I'm having with Tinubu. But he has a right to support whoever he wants to support. And he has a right to campaign for whoever he wants to campaign for.
Talking about right and talking about campaign, the Archbishop of activism, do you think Edo State is in Lagos by way of Jagaban interfering?
You are muted.
Sorry for that. Actually, Edo State is not Lagos. It's something every one of us have adapted. For those of us who have the Edo at heart, because we want a better society. Now, he is just trying to run his campaign. But one thing is that I don't know why a lot of people are trying to take we the Edo light as if we doesn't know what we are doing. Oshomole one first mentioned that the Edos, they are like how when you hold con, wherever place you stroll the con, they will run after it. So, and who is Jagaban taking care of? Now, one thing I dislike about politicians is that when you are hungry, they don't mind you. But when it comes to a time they need something from you, they want to come and meet you. So that is a place every Edolite supposed to count what Jagaban have said, Tinubu, that it is meaningless. I don't think that it will change anything. Because one, you are not a mentor to anybody. The people that this thing you have even pronounced it for are the politicians. But we the those that want a better society for ourselves, who know what we have went through right from birth, I don't think that one have anything to do. Like look like somebody like Israel say that Obaseki have not done anything. Then he does one campaign. They are just trying to bring down their reputation. And we are ready to give to them what they have sown. He said, whatsoever a man sow is in the book of Galatians 6, verse 7. He said, don't be deceived, our God is not more. Whatsoever you sow, you reap. There are a lot of people that have sowed Amadioha. People who sow Amadioha for you. So if you want people to respect you, particularly in this new dispensation or in this political race, there are things you put your mouth. Why there are things you stay clear away from it. Jagaban has just bring insult to himself. And right now we are digging him already. I think they are interested in a Edo State election. It's not going to be as usual. That's why I will not come here to want to be talking like a politician. I remain an activist. An activist I will remain forever until the end of time.
You are not an activist.
Thank you. I think I had no choice to answer the question.
But we that know what we are doing, we have come so that those people may have life and have it in abundance. So imagine people you are not taking care of. When we are having
you are not an activist.
How many times have Jagaban in truth that said they want to help us? How many food did Jagaban send during this very COVID-19? And who is making those things?
Now,
who is he taking care of?
Let me come in this way. Let me come in this way. Alessa, I can kind of perceive your standpoint at this point. I want to put you on a pedestal while we digress a little bit so other people can weigh in, and at the end we can come back to you. We understand that our sister from Lagos audio is low. We'll do the reset. Our technical crew will take off in 1 way, our commercial break. Just bear with us. So if you see us not bringing her in, that's because of the audio. However, let's proceed now. You are an activist, a man that have fought for the community in Toronto, Canada here. I've seen you as an upright person, and I'm speaking of Dr. Brown. I want you to weigh in on this.
Yes, am I coming in now? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, give me a second. Looks like something is popping up on my phone.
Okay, we can hear you though.
Okay, yeah, okay, you can hear me. Thank you so much. Thanks for the I think the question you asked is if
Jagaban, Tinubu, some people will say interference, some people will say, like my brother said, he's a true Nigerian, he has a right to do it and so on. And he also has a problem with, go ahead.
I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in freedom of association. Mr. Tinubu has expressed his own opinion. I think what is important is the people of Edo State has to be able to make an informed decision. It doesn't matter what somebody tells you as a person. You know, like the beginning of this debate was the having over presence of police and military in the state. Of whose interest does it start? That was how we began. And if you mirror it to what we are talking about right now, I think there's a connotation. At the end of the day, right, we understand that there are people who want their personal interest to be served, but it is the responsibility of the citizens that have the absolute power to decide who they want to be their governor, to do everything in their power to understand what the candidates represent. Right now, we can talk about the two formidable candidates, Mr. Yamu and Mr. Obaseki. What do they represent? And in what way are they convinced that their policies will be able to actually position the state in the direction of development? On the basis of that, they should cast their vote. It shouldn't have to do with what one person, that is in Lagos that probably believe he has the influence over people to decide for the people. The people have the absolute power to decide. And that also go back to what we'll be talking about, the whole idea of sensitization. I think myself and Princess, I agree with Princess on what she was saying. I believe in sensitization and indoctrination. Totally. And the people have to be able to be educated on righteousness, on the things that can affect them in the long term on things that are sustainable. 5,000, 10,000 today, what's that going to do for you in the long run? So the people needs to be educated at the end of the day and make an informed decision and decide who they would want to be their governor by going out there to vote for that person, not one person sitting anywhere across the world. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the note of saying that everybody freedom of speech, like somebody will say there's freedom of speech, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed. We are not sure. That's just a joke. However, I want to bring our sister in, Precious. It looks like you can hear us now. Do you believe that a guy that wants the governor of the state where you are broadcasting from right now, Lagos, can dictate or set the tone or the pace of the result of the governorship election, which is taking place in a few days on the 19th of September? Do you think that there's freedom of speech to that degree? And do you think there's freedom after speaking like that?
Thank you. I'm saying that he understands what I'm saying. The truth is, we can actually argue or drag these issues from now till tomorrow. Sensitizing people starts from our churches, our mosques, our houses, our friends, when we're having discussion, telling them what we think is better for us moving forward. Because we're not talking about now, we're talking about moving forward to the next level. I am still standing on the ground that we should start sensitizing people about certain information, about what is right. And it starts by one step at a time. Secondly, the issue of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu making a statement. Yes, you can. There's freedom to speech. Edo people should be the ones to decide. A man cannot come from one state and come and tell us who they want to be, who we should vote for in this next election. It's not done anyway. You cannot come to my mother's house and tell my mother what to cook. My mother will only serve you as a visitor what she has in her pot to cook. So Edo people should open their eyes. We've been sleeping all these years or all this while. I think it is high time for us to open our eyes and stand behind ourselves, support each other, and decide on what is right and what is good going forward. Because all of these things, all of this conversation is not just about now, it's beyond September 19th election. It is going forward what is best for us. Tinubu can say whatever he wants to say. He has the right to say, or freedom of speech to say whatever he wants to say. He can come and even insult the governor. His freedom of speech. But at the end of the day, what do you want to do? Who do you want to vote for? Are you going to sell your PVC for just wrapper and bag of rice or 1,000 naira? It is your choice. And don't forget, at the end of the day, it's not longer going to be an APC or a PDP conversation at the end of the day. Whoever becomes the next governor of Edo State, if the person is good, we'll all enjoy it. If the person is bad, we'll all suffer together.
Thank you.
And those people who are in diaspora that have people in Nigeria, they will still call you to send them money. Trust me. Nothing is going to change.
I'm going to quickly come in like that. It's so beautiful, and time is really fast spent. We have gone above time, but I want to bring our brother in now. There's 3 or 4 things that I'm going to collapse to one question. Number 1, Edo not be Lagos. Number 2, do you perceive Tinubu taking the place of godfatherism? Number 3, there's allegation that he's not Democrat because nowadays the word Democrat is used loosely. And number 4, did I say number 4 or number 3? Do you think this would actually change the people's mind that are going to vote on the 19th? This question is directly to my brother in Benin, Alessa.
Okay, let me come in this way. I want to say categorically that Tinubu is a leader of the APC. And I'm sure Obaseki, that is the opposition, that is in power today in Benin, was once a member of the APC. When we had issue, when 14 members were not inaugurated in the House of Assembly, as a Democrat, that you would think Obaseki is. 14 members were democratically elected, and the sitting governor refused to inaugurate them. Was Obaseki stopped from when Obaseki won the election? He was inaugurated. Nobody stopped his inauguration. How come Obaseki is stopping the inauguration of 14 members who were duly elected by their people? Let me tell you something. With that decision alone, Obaseki is not a Democrat. So when Tinubu tells you that, is a Democrat or as a leader, Tinubu is our leader. Let me tell you, if you feel Tinubu has no value, we that have Tinubu in our party, we know he has a political value. And when he says anything, we queue behind him. I want to tell you some certain things about Tinubu. When Tinubu was a governor, listen, when Tinubu was a governor of Lagos State, Osibajo was in power. Fashola was the chief of staff. Aregbesola was commissioner for works, which is the minister of interior now. Fashola was chief of staff, two-time governor of Lagos State, now is the commissioner for works and housing. Lai Muhammad was the chief of staff, first, I think was once the chief of staff before he was deployed to another ministry. Femi Gbajabiamila, SSA, now is not the speaker of House of Representatives. Why am I bringing all these points out? People who have queued behind Tinubu, they have always excelled politically. If you think he's not a leader to you, thank you. We don't have problem with it. But we that have Tinubu, we are so happy and joyous that he also spoke with. He also reignites the fire in us, the reason why we should vote our own candidate. So why am I bringing all these old things? If you think Tinubu, what he has said is not useful to you, but we that are APC, and some of us who have not decided before, on seeing that and on for him to point and tell those 14 members who represent 60% of the general Edo that Obaseki refused to inaugurate.
Now, can I put in?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask a question. I would like to ask my question because
yes,
it just made an inference to several other people that are in position of government. And I would like to know from you if you're saying that Tinubu has so much power to be able to put such people close to him in the position of government. As such, his words should be more valuable to the citizens of Edo State. Is that what you're trying to say?
Okay, what I need to tell you, somebody point out.
Because you just said about all these.
No, listen. Yes. That's how I want to respond. Somebody brought up the point and said, Tinubu is not, as far as it's concerned, what he said it's not going to hold water. People will still decide. This is how it's going to be. I said, no. Somebody made that remark that people, Precious made a remark that looks like that. That's why I bring up my point. I said, no. Tinubu is a leader. He is a leader to APC. And the trends and his antecedents, the thing he has done, that even me, if it has happened to me, I also regard him as a leader. For him to have grown this set of persons to this level, I would regard him as a leader to them. And sent him.
Now, let me butt in here.
His influence in the Edo State election. His influence in the Edo State election. You people started talking about the security presidents that are in Benin and everything. Let me tell you the influence. Let me tell you the influence. This thing I'm saying now, what I'm about to tell you now is very sensitive. I'm not supposed to say this. Do you know Aregbesola is the Minister of Interior and he determines the number of civil defense, air force, army, police that will be in the state per time? Minister of Interior.
It does not matter.
You know.
It does not matter. It does not matter.
Now, can I quickly weigh in? I'm gonna say this. This is a follow-up. This is a follow-up question to my brother Alessa. We do remember that when you spoke about the 14 members that was never that, according to the way you put it, they were never allowed to do the job they were elected for. And that's one of the reasons why Jagaban, aka Jagaban, Mr. Tinubu, said that Obaseki should be.
Regarded Obaseki not being a Democrat.
Yes. So by default, will you allude to
60%?
But will you agree to the fact? Will you say that by that token, since Oshomole did the same thing, Oshomole is also disqualified, was supposed to be rejected, because Oshomole also did practically the same thing by having...
No. Get it. Get it straight.
I want you to
Oshomole
explain.
never stops inauguration of any member. Get it straight. I know the area you are going to.
My brother,
But
can you
to
just be
say
able to defending all Nigerian leaders? You will just be defending all Nigerian leaders. I'm not really getting it clear here.
Mr. Ma, you are a PDP man. You are a
I'm
PDP
not
man.
a
You just
PDP,
did a
I'm
live
an
video before you
activist.
came to this
I'm
place now.
supporting the election of
Hello,
Gbkm.
I'm not a little
I'm not a
child.
PDP.
Before you came to this place, see, when I knew I was going to debate with people like you, I went to your histories. I filed into your histories and get your antecedent. Don't you see? If you are coming for a debate, first of all, go to people's words.
This
The
man
people
is
that
not
you are
even
debating,
debate.
try
I'm
to
not
get things
debating
about
with the
them. Oh, God,
gentleman.
you are a PDP. It's
How
not
will
me
you say I'm a
alone.
PDP?
You are a PDP
Everybody
man.
knows
Don't tell
I'm
me
a
that.
PDP. I
Don't
am
say
an
that you are
archbishop
human
of
rights activist.
activism.
At this
Just like
point,
that.
I'm an
let's
archbishop of
let's
activism.
water
So the
it down,
record are there.
guys.
Oh, God, you are a PDP.
I am an archbishop of activism. The record are there. This is how you
Oh,
become.
God, your last video. Your last video.
When did I become
Your
a
last
PDP?
video.
If I'm a PDP, I'll be very confident. I'm not a PDP.
All right, guys. Let's nip this now. Let's nip this now. Precious.
How will you able to be defending anybody?
Precious. I
And
want you to
you're
go
not even
ahead
defending
and
them with facts.
guys, let's nip this. Thank you very much. I understand where we are coming from. It's very good to be emotional. This is why it's called GBKM temperature room. The temperature is heated.
You are going to come and debate with an archbishop of activism who used his word of God to claim all his claims. That's what you're supposed to know. Then you go and
Okay, your last video. Your last
All right,
video
sir,
said,
guys. Thank you very much.
You can't say that,
At
my
this
brother. You are
point,
very young to start
let's go on the commercial break. We'll see you on the other side. We'll see you on the other side. We're going to quickly pay some bills. When we come back, we will be riding up soon. Thank you very much, guys. It's really nice. We're having fun. This is GBKFM temperature room. It's how we do. The temperature is high. As you can tell, we all love each other. We're bringing it all out. And that's for the passion of our country, the passion of our state. Do not touch that down. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back for another explosive discussion / debate.
Do you know who you are? What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alone. Just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I disperse in this verse, no apology. Memorized to keep you from evil theology. For you, the dark of hue, you denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. You cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Do you know who you are? What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alone.
Welcome back, welcome back. When the righteous rule, the people rejoice. You are now back on the GBKM temperature room. First of all, let me quickly appreciate our sponsors, Simi African Food. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for bringing this show to air. Thank you very much. We want to appreciate Andrew Enofe, real estate. Please, he's one of the best in Canada here. You want to buy a house anywhere in the world, he got you. You want to sell a house, he got you. You can also want to say special thank you to Dr. Loretta. Get the book. My father, my daughter, get the book. It's on Amazon. I haven't read the book. I'm not going to lie to you, but I saw all the comments, all the reviews. It's excellent. It's on Amazon. Check it out. This book is one of the best sellers and it's written by our very own sister, Dr. Loretta. Having said that, I have my people in the building. I have the Archbishop of Activism. I have my sister, Precious, a journalist from Lagos. A gubernatorial aspirant, Brother Uyi. I have Doctor, which is an activist, Dr. Brown. I also have my brother here, a farmer, somebody that is very passionate about our country, our states, to be precise, Brother Alessa Brown on his own live with me. Guys, thank you for joining us today. It's been so beautiful. The temperature was very high, very high, but we're able to control the temperature. I thank God we have the lady in the house that always kind of winding down a little bit when the temperature is getting high. And I want to believe that we're all having fun today. So we went across all the aisle. We spoke about we talked about the presence of the military and the police. We talked about what some people will say is an interference from Jagaban. We spoke about a lot, and we are about to round up. But before we round up, we want to. I want to start from. Anybody can start from now. Let's take it from there. What would you tell our people at home in Nigeria today when it comes to on the 19th? What's your advice? Now, I don't want these to be candidate influence. I want it to be generic. So I'll start from anybody can pick this before we proceed.
I want to say something before I say something to Edo people. And sorry, I had to go on Google. I want to talk about godfatherism and Godfather. The truth is, in one way or the other, sometimes I just feel the Englishman kind of deceived us. If we're using our language to explain this, I just painful that I don't know how to speak Benin very well, but I can hear Benin very well. It's just so painful that if we had our language and using our language to describe godfatherism, we would have understand it better. If you understand, sometimes when you're praying and you want to pray, you speak English, and sometimes you get hooked. But when you use your language to pray, you understand better. Godfatherism in the Godfather in the dictionary meaning is a man who represents a child at baptism and promises to take responsibility of their religious education. If we bring it down to politics, a man who is influential and pioneering a movement or an organization. Godfatherism for me is in both sides. Let us always judge things fairly. Everything in life is that bad or good. Is that positive or negative? If we have terrible godfathers in the state in terms of politics, does not also mean that they are not good people who are also godfathers to so many people that are in politics and out of politics. So it is left for you as an individual to decide which place you want to be, where you want to stand, which party you want to belong to. I'm not speaking about, when I mean party, I don't mean APC or PDP. Please get this right. So what I'm saying is, godfatherism is not, for me, as an individual, I don't see it as a bad thing. Everybody wants that person who would, by the dictionary meaning, who actually, when you look back, you know that somebody's actually standing by you to support you, both in good times and in bad times. So if Bola Tinubu has come out to be a bad leader or a good leader, it is left for the people to decide. It is not left for me to decide. But what I want to say to Edo people back home is the truth. Let us know that election is beyond being deceived with 1,000, being deceived with wrapper, food. All of those things are things that we're supposed to get. Those are basic things we're supposed to have. Let's not allow poverty to make us do the wrong things at the right time. This is the time for us. September 19th election is the time for us to vote for the right candidate. I don't know who the person is, if you ask me, because I'm not a soothsayer. But let us do what is right. Because whatever we say now will be used against us in the next 4 years. And that's going to be tough on everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so very much. I would like to quickly respond to my sister Precious. My sister Precious, you come across to me like someone that's very intelligent, someone very smart, but I differ with you in some areas. You just defined the Godfather in an intellectual manner. When we are talking about godfatherism in Edo State, we're talking about it in the context of somebody representing a special interest. We should not confuse it so that people don't get confused. Because everything has a premise, everything has a context. And the context at which you use the word is very important. So when we use Godfather in the context of Nigerian society, it means that somebody who wants to impose his will on the people. And if we practice a democratic system of government, you would agree that a democracy is a place where the will of the people has to be able to express their will without any intimidation or without being imposed upon. That being said, what I would like to say to my people of Edo State is this, my great people of Edo State. You have to understand that your destiny in your hand, and we couldn't have any other time but now. We are in the most crucial time in history, and whatever decision you make right now will very well determine the direction things go for you. If you have to take a look at the candidates, understand. Oh, sorry, my phone got interrupted.
Yeah, I think
you
we
have
lost
to
him.
be able to make an informed decision of the formidable candidates and vote for the candidates you truly believe in your heart will be able to represent the interest or the happiness of the greatest number of the people. Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much. Well said. I will call on brother Uyi Osunde to take his part.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me quickly talk to Precious as a godfather. Godfather in politics is a man who has his own interest, is a man who wants to speak for everybody, is a man who think about himself. In Lagos, one person owns the whole state. One person, the wife owns the market. When political offices, he sent his wife, his children, his in-laws, his family members. That is a godfather of Lagos. That is the reason you hear the slogan, Edo is not Lagos, that is being pocketed by just one man. Thank God, Oshomole came and eradicated Godfather in Edo State with his own mouth. He said there is no longer Godfather. So therefore, today, there cannot be Godfather in Edo State. Edo State people are wise. They know that there can't be any Godfather. Oshomole cannot impose himself as a Godfather. Bola Tinubu is not relevant in Edo State, regardless of what anybody is going to tell you. It's not relevant at all. There is no one single Edo person that recognizes Bola Tinubu at all. So that one is Babadash. Oshomole is even stronger than Bola Tinubu in Edo State, and even as that, is no longer cannot be recognized as a godfather in Edo State. The Edo people must decide for themselves the way to go, and we know who we want. So right now, my advice to Edo people: check your conscience. You've seen what is going on. You know, because right now it has gone to two people, Obaseki or Izeyamu. So you choose. Let your conscience speak for you. Let your mind speak for you. Look at the antecedent of two of them, and you make a very good decision on who to lead our state forward. So the ball is in your court, the decision is yours, and you are the person that matter right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to go to Alexa. My brother, thank you. I want you to weigh in now, and let's hear from you. I think you will have to unmute yourself, sir, because we can hardly hear you. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Is Mr. Uyi still contesting? Is he still contesting?
No,
I just want to ask.
He's no longer contesting.
No, I'm not contesting.
Okay. It's obvious. It's obvious. Because, the reason why we look at this discussion, the whole lines of discussion, they have been flogging Godfather, which has been its slogan, Obaseki only with. When Obaseki came in for first term, he was not Oshomole was not a godfather. Tinubu was not a godfather. It is now that Oshomole and Tinubu are not godfather. But today, nobody see Wike as godfather again. Nobody see this Tommy Himi as godfather. They now see Oshomole as godfather. I like the whole concept, but that's by the way. Whichever way you want to define godfather or whatever you want to say, I want to please make an acknowledgement. Whenever we are bringing people to live videos like this, I don't really like when people call themselves activists or human rights activists. They are neutral. It's a big lie. I think that's the worst cheat. If you look at the discussion here, I can categorically point everybody that is discussing here with a line of discussion. I know is sticking towards the sentiment. And it is so clear. And I don't want to talk about anybody, but the truth is that I don't want people coming up to tell themselves, I'm an activist, human rights activist, I stand for good governance. I'm not a member of a political party. No. Let's not stop. Everybody, we are politicians, directly or indirectly. Let's not talk about that. But what I want to tell the good people of Edo State is this. Election is coming. There's no way I will talk to my people without begging them for one thing. When you are going out tomorrow, don't kill yourself. The best way you can kill yourself is on Saturday, sorry. Don't kill yourself. The best way you can kill yourself is to go there with the mindset of causing problem in your polling unit. If you go to that place with the mindset of going to vote and returning back to your house or stay within a specified parameter and defend your vote, it is good. Go do your work, perform your civic responsibility without causing any problem. And that's the best advice I can give to you, because your life is far, far more important than the ambition of any politician. That is my advice to you. And I will also appeal. I am representing a candidate, POI, Pastor Saigi Zeyamu, and I want him as a governor. That is why I had to return back, so that I can also vote for him. Please, I am begging everybody, help us, let us do this. That is my personal interest and the interest of the entire Edo persons, because I have seen his agenda. The agenda clearly captured the entire persons in the state. And I think it is good we also try him, because the one we tried has not showed us a reasonable result for these 4 years. We need somebody that can also have a clear definition of what he wants to do, who can be held accountable by virtue of a document that he has given to us, who wants to vote Pastor Sagise and vote the broom, vote APC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly debunk something here. I believe everybody has the right to identify themselves with what they think they are. Let me quickly say that clear. We can be activists, we can be a doctor, we can be what we say we are, as long as it's not stepping on anybody's way of life, privacy, or more etc. At this point, I want to go on and speak to, give the audience to our brother Newton. You guys have done so well. Brother Newton, please go ahead and let's hear from you.
Thank you very much. I will not say I'm tired, A quest for a better society, even Jesus Christ was spitted upon. I think I'm a little bit disappointed over my brother, over the insulting word that he's using, forgetting that we don't know where we are going to meet tomorrow. The records will tell. But I'm not going to respond to you the way you responded to me. Maybe you might senior me with 10 years. I'm also senior you. There's no problem about that. Then when we're talking about Godfather, we mean people who want their will to be done, not the people's will. That's why Edo people rose up and say, no, you cannot keep on doing imposement. You have to stop this. So I'm a little bit disappointed today over what happened here, because I hate insult. That's why I'm not a politician. Politicians, they are versed in the book of Proverbs 26, verse 11. They go back to their vomit often. So whatever thing you tells me, I go home and mourn about it. If I worry, good. If I doesn't worry, there's no problem. That's why all my claims from the Bible. If you want to accuse me to what I'm doing. I'm not a pastor who I've never wanted to quote John 3:16. I don't fake name. I'm an Archbishop of activism. So if I'm not, I will not say it. The records are there. I'm a fool, take it back. The records are there. So don't be insulting my brother. So that's that. I want to advise Edo people we have been in this struggle right from the one, right from the principio. Aimont, Luchao Mutu, Ataora, that will fight to this extent. Please, don't let anybody encourage you to say it or vote. I did a video and I was able to refer to the book of Daniel 3 verse 14. How Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stewed in a foreign land. That land was not their own. In the presence of Nebuchadnezzar. You are not going to be seeing graven image again. You are not going to be seeing a condition that will make you meet your brother, like the way Esau met his brother Jacob in the book of Genesis 25 verse 30. And say, give me some pottage. Take my birthright. Just give me some pottage. It's not going to happen. Bujibanti said you are going to rule your destiny. What is your birthright today? It's what you have to change the whole system. If you sell your own, I sell mine, we are going to remain in this state of Adagaduism. Thank God I'm a resident holder in Europe, not even in Spain. I can work in any part of Europe. I have a gene in my life. I am not suffering. I don't think I will condescend so low for my children to dwell in Nigeria. I can decide to say I'm not going to come again. But God knows, God ever bear me witness that what I'm doing, I'm not doing it because of my personal selfish interest. I'm doing it because of what I've read in the book of Matthew 5 verse 7. He said, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. So please, let us be very, very careful, because you don't know who God has sent. You know the man that you have that makes you to do what you are doing. I know the man that I have that makes me to do what I'm doing. So if God wants to deliver the people, he has to send. So I am a God sent. In whichever way you care to listen to me, I don't care to know. Please, my dear people, let nobody deviate you from the real attention. We all have seen that John 10:10 is written for some group of people, that they come to steal, they come to kill, and they come to destroy. Right now, even the book of Proverbs also let us to know the reason why we must have to vote for Obaseki. Proverbs 29 verse 2. He said, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people, they mourn. If you want to the person now, they are happy.
How do you define?
Market women, they are happy. So everybody, no more Agberu. Agberu not beat anybody again. Please, with those points I've given, don't sell your vote. He saw later regretted the reason why he said his birthright to Jacob. Your voter's card is your birthright now. If you say you want to change your life, you can change it. And remember, you are the CEO to your life. Let nobody deceive you. It's no longer analog politics. We are not playing a digital politics. So thank you and God bless you all. Do life. Te quiero mucho todo el mundo. Gracias.
So you just said you're not in support of any party, and I just said
wait. Let me quickly correct that. I'm not a PDP. I support good governance. That's why if you watch it very clear.
No. It's one against you. You just made mention of Obaseki, so it's obvious that that's who you're.
I'm not a PDP. I support Obaseki government, and the Bible permitted it. I've quoted it for you. The Bible that permitted the reason why I'm supporting it. If it is not written down, I will not do it.
All right, guys, we have a whole day. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, let me come in here. I want to thank everybody. The temperature continue tomorrow, guys. The temperature continue tomorrow. 12 o'clock, 12 noon Canada time, the temperature continue. We're going to go deeper. We're going to talk about things that matter. And we are all going to have that opportunity to say our mind, share our views, learn from each other, impart our people at home. On this note, I want to say a very big thank you to every participant today. Special thank you to Brother Niti, Brother Uyi, Sister Precious, Brother Alessa, Dr. Brown, Sister Loretta. Special thank you to all of you for your contribution and your time. And do not forget, guys, people are touched. The lives are touched. Your views are very powerful. Your stand and your position are very impactful. And we can't ask for more than what you guys have done. You guys have served our local and international community. And in my capacity as the host of this show, I want to say once again, thank you. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 noon Canada time. On that note, guys, I want to say a very big thank you to all our sponsors all over the world. See Me African Food. We want to say thank you. Want to say thank you to Andrew Enofe. Thank you very much. Very thank you to Dr. Loretta. Great book. Thank you. Guys, don't forget we are 247. We are 24 hours on our web TV at www.gbkm.tv. We're also 24 hours on our web radio, www.gbkm.fm. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy and stay blessed and have a GBKM food day. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon on the temperature.
Just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I disperse in this verse, no apology. Memorize to keep you from evil theology. For you, the dark could hear, denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. You cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Do you know who you are? What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alone. Just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I disperse in this verse, no apology. Memorize to keep you from evil theology. For you, the darker hue, you denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. You cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Good afternoon, live from Toronto on the Gbkm network. This is the Chat Up Show, the show where we talk about any and everything to do with popular culture. I'm your host, Elizabeth Aloidi, and I hope that you are ready to chat it up with me today. Now, as always, you can keep up with the Gbkm network in various ways. You can listen to our radio 24/7 at www.gbkm.fm. You can follow us on Instagram at gbkmfm and on Twitter at gbkm_FM, and you can watch all our shows live on Facebook and like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff at GBKM TV, and to watch as well on YouTube at GBKM TV. Now, we in Ontario are halfway through our 6th week of lockdown, and it's starting to feel like quarantining is becoming some sort of a routine. We're figuring out how we're going to navigate this new normal in our life, in our everyday lives. But as we are social human beings and we love to be around people socially and just have those social interactions that we're missing and longing, we are going to be giving some tips and treatments courtesy of the WHO on how you can manage another 3 weeks or so in quarantine without feeling like you just want to rip the walls down and get out of there, okay? And we're also going to be giving some expert advice on how different personalities can manage handling together in one house under one roof. So if you feel that your quarantine buddy is starting to get on your nerves a little bit, don't worry. We have some tips on how you can manage to squash any beefs you may be experiencing during this time of lockdown and social distancing. We're also going to be talking about the different ways we can hang up the phone. Now, people have nowhere to go, so we're running out of excuses of what to say when we want to hang up the phone and end that conversation. So don't worry, we got you later on in the show, but now we're going to slow things down a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a somber mood as we pay our respects to those who lost lives in the Nova Scotia shooting that happened over the weekend, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Going to be giving you a few more details about how the investigation's going. Though the suspect was shot down Sunday at the scene, there is some more investigations to be done of the victims whose lives were taken, and some more updates on how many lives were lost, unfortunately, in that incident. And next, we're also going to be talking about treatments for COVID-19, the treatments that doctors have been prescribing, that a certain president has also put his foot behind, saying it is essential to start using this course of treatments. However, there are studies that have been released and published showing that some courses of treatments might actually have more of a detrimental effect than be a benefit to treating the COVID-19 pandemic and patients who are confirmed with the virus. So we're going to be talking about what that study says, giving you a little rundown of what doctors and experts are encouraging folks to do if they do show symptoms of the virus. Now, this might be something you've been hearing a lot lately. The name of this particular drug that has recently been recommended, as I mentioned, by a certain president, and that is by US President Donald Trump. It is the use of hydroxychloroquine to help treat COVID-19. Now, President Trump tweeted on March 21st saying hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, which is another drug, antibiotic to be specific, that is being tested to see if it works with hydroxychloroquine to help treat the virus. So he tweeted, hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin taken together have a real chance to be one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. He went on to also tweet, the FDA has moved mountains. Thank you. Now, this tweet was to show appreciation and to show that there is some investigation being looked at different ways that we can treat this pandemic and treat the virus in patients who are confirmed cases of COVID-19. However, there is a recent study that shows it might not be as beneficial as President Trump tweeted it would be in treating COVID-19. Hydroxychloroquine, which is a drug that is originally used to treat and prevent malaria, help to treat lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. With the news of this drug helping treat COVID-19, folks were out purchasing and stockpiling the medication at unprecedented rates, leaving those who originally use it for their courses of treatments for pre-existing conditions more vulnerable, as they're not able to keep up with the required dosage and not being able to keep up with their prescriptions because people were buying the just to help themselves and to help treat and self-medicate at home. Now, doctors are urging folks that if you are exhibiting symptoms of the virus, not to do this because we still do not know the effects of the drug. In this new study, it showed that using hydroxychloroquine to treat the new coronavirus resulted in deaths more than using the regular treatment, which is the course of treatment for a flu, getting rest, staying hydrated, getting your fluids, and ensuring that you are staying well rested and healthy, getting all the nutrients that you need. Now, this study was funded by the National Institute of Health in the US, and it has shown, as I mentioned, no beneficial effects on using hydroxychloroquine to treat the new coronavirus. In the nationwide study, it was studied in various veteran hospitals across the US. Researchers tested the effects of treating COVID-19 patients with a combination of treatments. There was one test group in this particular study who received treatment of only hydroxychloroquine. There was another that received a combination of the antibiotic azithromycin, whose brand name is Zithromax, for those of you who are thinking that that sounds familiar. It's originally used to treat lower respiratory infections, pneumonia, asthma, such like that. And then there was another group that received the standard treatments, which is similar to treatments that I mentioned of the flu, getting enough rest, staying well hydrated, taking medications such as Tylenol to relieve the fever, the aches and pains that you might feel, sometimes in some cases, some sinus relief as well. Now, it's important to note that this was just a preliminary study. This is just the beginning. The study and the review has not been peer reviewed yet, so we don't really know if this is the case across the board on how to go about treating the COVID-19. It is on a case-by-case basis with a lot of doctors, so if you are exhibiting symptoms, it's important that you call into your local health worker, your local health clinics, your doctor, to give your symptoms over the phone, and they will go on a case-by-case basis to see if you need to be admitted to hospital or if you can self-medicate with the regular course of remedy, which is getting rest, staying hydrated, and ensuring you're taking medication to help with your fever. And as you go on, giving your symptoms to see if your case is getting worse or if you need if you can just continue doing what you were doing before. Now, going back to the study ran until April 11th, and it found that 28% of the patients given hydroxychloroquine with standard care, meaning the rest and hydrating yourself, 28% of them died, while 11% of those receiving routine care alone died. So that shows that there's a large difference between those numbers of folks who were just receiving routine care versus those who had added the hydroxychloroquine to their medication routine. And it also found that 22% of the patients receiving the combination of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin also died. Now, the close margin between the groups that received the hydroxychloroquine and the usual course of care, and the group that received the combination of hydroxychloroquine and the azithromycin, the close margins between those numbers, the 28 and 22%, only lets us know that there may be other factors that might have contributed to these deaths as well. There may be other factors such as pre-existing conditions, even just how folks on general react to the different medications. Not everyone is able to metabolize certain medications the same way. So it's still not certain what is the best course in this particular study, using the combination of azithromycin and hydroxychloroquine, or just going with the standard care route, or using hydroxychloroquine and this routine care. It's still unsure. This was just a preliminary study that they were conducting across veteran hospitals. They tested in total about 300 veterans, so that is a small sample size in the grand scheme of things, but it was just to give an idea of what was going on. To be precise, that's 368 male veterans, so this is just the beginning stages, but for now, doctors are saying that the best course of action, if you are exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19, you should call in with your symptoms to find out if you can just self-remedy at home with your doctor's instructions, or if you will actually need to go into hospital for more urgent care. Another study, however, was also conducted in France from early March to about March 16th, and it came out with different results from this recent study. It showed that out of 80 patients, 6 of them were asymptomatic after using a combination of drugs as well, using the combination of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin as well. It also showed that 8 had lower respiratory tract infection systems, and 22 of them had upper respiratory tract infections, which means that just upper tract, giving you guys a little bit of a biology lesson here, but these are just the numbers, that out of 80 patients, 6 were asymptomatic after the study, 22 had upper respiratory tract infection, and 8 had lower respiratory tract infection. Now, also in the study, 20 cases were treated and showed a significant reduction of the viral carriage and a much lower average carrying duration than reported of the untreated patients, which basically means that 20 of those patients, of the cases out of the 80 patients, saw a reduction of the viral infection in their bodies than those who went untreated. Now, the study also went on to say that the azithromycin added to the hydroxychloroquine was significantly more efficient for virus elimination. Now, this was a study that was conducted in early March to about mid-March and around March 16th. So that just shows where the studies were in that stage of things. And now moving on about a month later, we're hearing now and seeing that the combination of those two drugs may not be the most efficient. Now, these were also all small sample sizes. As we know, they can't be taken fully for face value, but just in the interest of transparency and giving you guys information that might help you understand how you can deal with it if you are showing symptoms. The best course of action right now is to just call into your doctor and let them know what your symptoms are over the phone, and see if it is needed that you do go into the hospital for urgent care, or if you can stay home and remedy yourself with your doctor's instructions at home, safe and sound. Now, there are more studies that are hopefully going to be conducted in the future and currently going on right now. WHO is conducting the Solidarity Clinical Trials, which is an international trial to find an effective treatment for COVID-19. Patients who are enrolled from multiple countries, the aim is to rapidly discover whether any of the drugs slow the disease progression or improve survival. So they're really trying to find some way that you can treat or cure completely the virus in people's bodies. And this is happening across the globe with doctors everywhere internationally, trying to see what is the best course of action that we can use to quell this global pandemic, because it's taking over the world essentially, right? And people wanting to stay safe and informed is so important, so that you can keep your community safe and informed as well, so that we can really all help to flatten the curve with as much information as we know and are able to share. Now, this trial, as of April 21st, which was yesterday, the trial had over 100 countries working. It's testing adults over the age of 18 recently hospitalized or already in hospitals with confirmed COVID-19. And they're randomly picking treatments for these patients just as a random test study to see how each patient will react to the courses of treatments. Now, it's a combination of just using the local standard of care or a combination of local standard of care plus one other. So for example, using chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, using lopinavir, which is another remedy, a form of treatment, with a ritonavir. There's a lot of scientific stuff, but essentially what the WHO is doing with this Solidarity clinical trial is trying to find the best course of treatment across the globe, using different ways, using different combinations of drugs to help treat or cure COVID-19. Now, these are just a few steps that the science world is taking to ensure that everyone is staying safe and we're able to get back to whatever life will be like after this pandemic essentially is under control, and we can continue on going back to being social and physically social and doing what we remembered we loved to do before that we aren't able to do now. This is all in the hopes that we can help flatten the curve of the pandemic and to save as many lives as possible at the end of the day. This pandemic, this virus is really rampant and it's taking a lot of lives, and it's important to remember everything we are doing is to ensure the safety of not just ourselves but those we love and care for in all communities across the globe, as this virus, as we know, does not discriminate. And it's so important that we listen to what our officials are saying any way we can to stay informed. We must do it, and to keep ourselves protected. If that means that you are keep wearing your masks, keep wearing your gloves, doing what you can, hand sanitizer, washing your hands, as we all know now, keeping our 6 feet of distance, every little bit counts to ensure that we are flattening the curve of this pandemic. Now, we're gonna move on into some news that is sombering and is quite hard to deal with, especially now that we're dealing with a pandemic and we're all in a lockdown and we're not able to show our grief or even love for one another as we normally would. In the late hours of Saturday and early hours of Sunday morning, Canada was experiencing what is described as the worst mass shooting to ever happen in the country, in the province of Nova Scotia, in a town called Peak. Now, police have updated that the death toll is 22 victims, 23 including the gunman. More victims are being identified every single day as the investigations go on from the gun rampage that happened in Nova Scotia. Now, the gunman, as I mentioned, is no longer alive. He was gunned down at the scene in a confrontation with the RCMP. This really did shake the Canadian community to the core, because it was one of the saddest things to have happened in our history, and also to happen at a time like this when we're all dealing with the pandemic. It's very, very sad. But we also remember that Canada is a country that loves to show out and show support and show love. And right now, it's more than ever needed to show support to those who are living on after the gun rampage and after the shooting, and show support and love to those who have lost loves in their lives at this time. There will be a virtual vigil held later on this week. I will give you some more details about that later on. But for now, what we do know about the investigation that's going on is that the RCMP had previously warned that the death toll may increase as investigations are combed through several homes. There are several homes that were affected, and also intentionally set ablaze by the gunman in his 12-hour rampage that started late on Saturday evening. So that means that a lot of our RCMP officers and officials are having to dig through rubble to try and find the remains of some of the victims of this senseless act. Now, so far on Tuesday, 16 separate crime scenes were being examined across the province. What we know about the gunman is that he was a 51-year-old male, and as I mentioned, was killed in a confrontation with the police Sunday morning. Now, during the attack, he was able to get around as he wore an RCMP police uniform and drove what was described by authorities as a look-alike police vehicle, which was why the RCMP could not identify the victim as quickly as they would like, but once they did, they were able to control the situation, but ultimately led ended up in his death. Now, the work of the RCMP is slowed down, as I mentioned, because the victim had torched homes as well as cars. So a lot of the remains is being looked through right now to try and find out who else had lost their lives. What we do know right now is some of the victims included a teacher, an RCMP officer, and a home care nurse who was working on the front lines of the coronavirus pandemic. So about this virtual vigil that will be held on Friday, it is to honor the victims of the shooting. And since we're all on lockdown, we're not able to physically go out and show our support, this will be shown on Facebook at 7 p.m. on Friday through the Facebook group Colchester Supporting Our Community. Now, Prime Minister Trudeau gave a statement about the shooting in his Monday morning daily briefing. He said, "We are a country that stands united in our efforts to defeat a pandemic, to save lives, and to help each other make it to a better day." He also went on to say that now these communities are in mourning and Canada is in mourning with them. Violence of any kind has no place in Canada. We stand with you and we grieve with you. Now, this vigil will help all those who are dealing with this loss to come together to show their love and support for one another as we're finding a new way to grieve during this pandemic. Prime Minister Trudeau also went on to say in his address on Monday that the pandemic will prevent us from mourning together in person, but a vigil will be held virtually to celebrate the lives of the victim at 7 p.m. on Friday, as I mentioned, through the Facebook group Colchester Supporting Our Community. Now, our thoughts and prayers are with those with that community grieving this loss at this time. It's unimaginable what they might be thinking, what they're going through, but we send all our thoughts and prayers to them right now as they're dealing with that. And we are going to go on a quick break, but when we are back, stay tuned because we are going to be chatting about some treatments and remedies for those of you who are thinking not another week of quarantine. So don't worry, we've got some tips and tricks for you on how you can manage your days and how you can enjoy your days according to the WHO, and some tips and tricks on how different personalities can deal with being stuck under the roof for another week in quarantine, where you might be feeling some tension with your quarantine buddies. Don't worry, we've got tips from experts on how you can deal with that conversation. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Whenever a client sits in that chair, I pretend they're part of my family. What would I do for my family if they were in this situation? I take it personally to make sure that I find the best possible avenue for them to succeed. If you do it with a pure heart, and if you do it with integrity and professionalism, you're sure to succeed.
As the world fights this coronavirus, we are standing together as a family.
My name is Kelly. I'm a fan of Gbkm.
My name is Pastor Clement Omozane.
I'm Medea, your red carpet host.
I am your host, Ellen Roxon, for the show Talk That Talk here on Gbkm FM.
I'm a mother and a teacher. I stand with everyone at this time.
And my name is OJ Egobo, co-host of the King's Domain.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lloydie, the host of the Chat Up Show on Gbkm.
My name is Kenny Bagwai, President and CEO, Gbkm FM and TV. We stand with all the community affected by this pandemic.
As the world fights this coronavirus, we are standing together as a family.
My name is Ken. I'm a fan of Gbkm.
My name is Pastor Clement Omozane.
I'm Medea, your red carpet host.
I am your host, Ellen Roxon, for the show Talk That Talk here on Gbkm FM.
I'm a mother and a teacher. I stand with everyone at this time.
And my name is OJ Egobo, co-host of the King's Domain.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lloydie, the host of the Chat Up Show on Gbkm.
My name is Kenny Bagwai, President and CEO, Gbkm FM and TV. We stand with all the community affected by this pandemic.
As the world.
Hello, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the Chat Up Show, and I'm your host, Elizabeth Lloydie. Now, we've been chatting about the recent treatments and tests that are going into this treatment to find out the best course of action in dealing and treating the COVID-19 virus. we found that there are various studies that have been conducted across the world that have come up with maybe conflicting results, but we're hoping that we can help to flatten the curve of this pandemic. Just calling into our doctors if we are exhibiting any symptoms and finding out what the best course of treatment is according to their instructions. We also gave an update of what is going on in Nova Scotia after the shooting that occurred over the weekend. If you would like to join in on the virtual vigil that is being hosted on the Facebook group Call Chester Supporting Our Community, you can on Friday, April 24th at 7 p.m. You can go check out that Facebook group to join in on the virtual vigil to pay your respect to those who lost their lives in this shooting. Now, we're shifting gears a little bit as we're going to dive into tips on how to deal with more weeks in quarantine. Now, every week on the Chat Up Show, we've been giving you some tips and tricks on how you can work at home, work from home, create a routine, create some kind of schedule. If you have kids at home that you're staying with, what you can do with them, different activities you can use to keep them occupied during the day and to ensure that they're still getting their schoolwork done as schools are still closed. Now, this week, we're going to go into a little bit more of the dynamics of relationships during quarantine and what experts are suggesting to those who are quarantining with a buddy right now, or even quarantining alone, how different personalities may be reacting to this time of self-isolation and social distancing, and how you can help yourself feel more centered, how you can ensure that your mental health is as healthy as possible, and also your physical health, as that also has an effect on your mental state as well. Just ways we can keep our bodies fit, healthy, and active as well to ensure that we are staying in our tip shapes, and also ensure that we are doing our bits to ensure that all our communities are going to come out healthier on the other side of this pandemic. It is an uncertain time. We're not sure how long we may be in quarantine for. I mean, right now in Ontario, we know that for now it's going to be until May 12th, but by adhering and picking up on these little tricks and implementing them in your new everyday life, it might make quarantining with a buddy or alone, or just giving you the tools to use this time to really search deep within your inner self to help yourself come out stronger on the other side. Because at the end of the day, anything can be an opportunity for growth. And why not try it when you are stuck at home with nowhere to go? And we're also going to be giving tips on that note on how to hang up phone calls when you have nowhere to go. Like, what are we saying on the phone when we're kind of over the conversation and we just want to go, but we don't want to be rude, we still want to be polite, but also we need to get off. We're going to be running down some tips and some tricks that some social media users have pointed out have been useful for them a little bit later on. But first, if you are stuck in this rut of being in quarantine and it's especially starting to get to you, don't protest. Instead, listen to some of these tips the WHO has given to help you deal with being in quarantine for a long period of time. Now, one of the tips, obviously, is to eat healthy to boost your immune system. We want our immune systems to be at the strongest ever. So ensuring that you are getting as much fresh produce as you can, ensuring that you're eating a healthy, balanced diet according to your nutritional needs is so important. I know right now it's so easy to have that couch potato effect where we want to grab everything that's easiest in the fridge, eat all our snacks before we have a real meal, but being conscious about what we are putting into our body is so important, as that has an overall well-rounded effect on how we're feeling on the inside, mentally and physically. You know, gut health is very important, and doctors are urging people to remember the importance of probiotics. Now, you can get these in multivitamins capsules or yogurt. Eat some yogurt. Some good, healthy gut bacteria that can help build your immune system as well and help build your gut as well, because that's so important, especially if you feel that you've been eating a lot of like junk food and stuff. Good way to start a cleanse as well is to just do a juice cleanse if you can. If not, you can try some intermittent fasting, things to just cleanse your system. Drinking a lot of water as well is very important. And that is tip number 2 from the WHO's list, is ensuring that you are staying hydrated. Now, also important in this, kind of like a subsection, sub-tip, if you will, is limiting your alcohol and sugary drinks, as these often dehydrate your body and take away from the essential parts of the body. You know, sometimes sugar, you get that high and then you have that deep, deep crash if you're on a sugar high, but it's good to ensure that you're limiting as much as you can and just balancing it out. You know, a glass of wine once in a while is not going to harm you, but if you find yourself waking up at 10 o'clock in the morning and reaching for the bottle of scotch, maybe try a glass of water instead, as that is more likely to wake up your organs and wake you up so you can have a more productive day. It's good for your mental health as well. Keep everything in you just lubricated so that you can be at your best physical and mental shape possible. Now, another tip that the WHO gives is that you do not smoke. Smokers, if you find that you are reaching for that pack of cigarettes more often now because you are anxious, other ways that you can help with your anxiety is doing physical exercise. Go for a walk if you can, go outside, stretches, all of that stuff to get your body moving, just to get you in space where you are releasing endorphins and feeling that natural high, as opposed to looking for something else to fill that void. Now, they also say that smoking can also exacerbate COVID-19 symptoms and increase your risk of getting seriously sick. Can also increase your risk of long-term bronchitis, which is no fun. Nobody wants to be having that cough for a long period of time. So just limiting how much you're smoking and finding other ways to deal with anxiety. Like I mentioned, physical exercise, which is another tip on this list. Doing at least 30 minutes a day for adults and an hour a day for kids. Kids do have a lot of energy, and I'm sure parents at home right now, you know your kid has a lot of energy that you are trying to find different ways to get them to let out. Maybe incorporating an hour of exercise every single day. That can be anything from, if you're able to, taking a walk outside, going for a run, if you have a garden, playing ball, playing catch, playing tag, if you have the space to, even just putting music on and dancing around for a while. That will help get the heart rate pumping, that will get the endorphins released, having you feel good, will also help you release any pent-up energy if you have that and you find yourself to be quite fidgety during the day. Take this break for 30 minutes to an hour. You can also join in. Tracy Moore, who is the host of City Line, is doing Tuesdays with Tracy on breakfast television on City TV, where she does a set of workouts that you can do at home by yourself, as well as she is also at home in quarantine right now, that you can do during the week anytime you need to. This week she was doing cardio and core exercises, so it was really getting the heart racing and working on the core to help with your posture. That's a tip too. Doing core exercises also helps you with your posture. So if you are hunched over a desk or a laptop all day, this will help strengthen your core so that you can help sit up straight, so that you're not putting so much strain on your back, on your neck, which is another tip. Taking those breaks for every 30 minutes, if you can, do 3 minutes of a break where you can do some stretching, some light stretches. This is especially good for those who are hunched over desk all day. It is not comfortable when you start feeling that strain, you know, that strain at the back of your neck. Not fun. So this is a really great habit that you can implement even after you're out of quarantine, even at your office desk at work during the day. At any point in time you're starting to feel a little icky, kind of feeling stiff, do some light stretches that you can do in your chair, like bend over to stretch the backs of your legs, anything you can do, twist a little bit in your seat, just to keep everything nice and limber so you're not feeling as stiff and as tense during the day. Also, doing this with your kids, if you're stuck at home with your kids, is a great way to get them moving. And also, it's a great habit that they can start having. Stretching is really important, especially as we're getting older. You know, when you were a kid and you were doing all these flips and tricks and you were also flexible, and then one day you woke up and it was a struggle to kick your legs over the side of the bed. Well, stretching can really help you with that. And it's just ensuring that everything is all nice, loose, and limber, so you're not holding on to any tension in your body, and can really help with your breathing as well. Some people are taking up yoga now, which is really great to help with breathing and doing stretching and just warming up your body at the beginning of the day so that you feel alert, you feel awake. You also feel like you've had a good night's sleep because now you stretched it all out, which is also an important thing, managing to get enough rest. Now I know everyone is up at all hours because it's so interesting to be online right now. That's where everybody is. Everything is going on online, on social media. You always want to stay up to date. You want to want to keep informed, but ensuring that you are getting enough rest and coupled with hydration it will do wonders for you. If you're starting to feel like you're lethargic during the day, if you're starting to feel like it's like a struggle to just get up and do some little tasks, you can implement some of these tips in your day just to keep things flowing, get the blood flowing, have your body feeling good, feeling right, which can also affect your mental headspace as well. So these are some really great tips that you can start implementing right now into your new everyday life. Another tip from these experts is finding ways to just laugh. Find ways that something that makes you laugh that you enjoy. If that's having family time with your family, playing games, if you can play games and not hate each other after them, do that. If you want to watch a comedy special, Netflix has a whole selection for you to pick from various comedians over the years that you can watch and just let out a good old laugh, because even just the act of laughing can really help elevate your mood. Even if it's fake, just start ha-ing, and I can guarantee at one point, I do this too, and no joke, this is from experience. I may have just cried my eyes out for whatever reason. We're gonna get real, this is the Chat Up Show. But if I start laughing, it's just the act of doing it. I always come up with something in my head that's hilarious and actually gets me laughing and feeling good. Because if you can find ways to just remember the good things, then it will help to deal with the bad things, because then we're just living in spaces of gratitude. I mean, it's so important to remember that being bored at home is one of the privileges right now. Being able to have this time to really take in and look inwards and deal with whatever we wanted to deal with before. And maybe that's picking a new hobby that you enjoy, that you've always been wanting to try out, and that gives you joy. Just finding things that bring you joy in any way is so important at this time, because it's important to just find the little things that can spark happiness in this time of being in quarantine and in self-isolation. So if you want to just start laughing around your house, do it, and that brings you joy. If you want to dance around for 30 minutes a day, I highly recommend this. This is kind of how I start every morning now, just to get me up and going. Put on some music. I make my own playlists. I keep them private if you don't want everyone looking and judging your playlist. Don't worry, we're not going to judge your taste in music. If you want to put on that High School Musical and dance around your room, do that. If you want to listen to your Whitney Houston, you want to dance with somebody, get up and get moving in any way you can. If you are a fitness fanatic and you're missing the gym, find ways to incorporate those workouts that you used to do in the gym at home. You can do a lot of home workouts. I mean, there's so many on YouTube, so many even just across social media platforms, fitness coaches and trainers who are recognizing that people are missing that release of energy, and they're putting up different workouts that you can do at home with no weights, just with your body weights. If you want to start slow, do a couple squats, if you will, some jumping jacks just to get things going, and then work your way up if you feel the need to, some push-ups as well. Something that really works the whole body at a time, also gets your heart rate pumping and helps you to kind of feel alive, you know? Sitting on the couch all day really does have an effect on you, especially if you're in the same position. You wake up, you do the same thing. This is a way that you can switch up that routine, so there's something that you can look forward to during the day. Now, some tips for those of us who have different personalities. It's really important that we also remember, especially if we're quarantining with a buddy, is to remember that people are dealing with this differently. So for some, exercising isn't the way to go. They're not interested in getting up and getting moving and are perfectly content with sitting on the couch and binge watching shows all day. And if that helps you feel at peace and that's what sparks joy for you, then continue doing that. That's fine. If you do need to get up and go and you have a quarantine buddy who would prefer to stay on the couch, then maybe that is the alone time and space that you need to do what you want to do. Go out and go for a walk or go for a run, do what you need to do on your own so that you can come back happier, having done the things that you enjoy, and kind of just relieving the tension and releasing the tension as well. Because there's not only tension in our bodies, sometimes there's tension in the air that it's not comfortable to be living in, especially in such close quarters for such long periods of times. Now, expert tips. First of all, I want to preface by saying that doctors say it's normal to feel stress and confused and scared during a crisis. This is a quote specifically from the WHO Director General. He also went on to say, try not to read or watch too much news if it makes you Now, we always preach that it's important to stay informed and to stay as updated with as much useful information as possible. But if you find that this is having an effect on your mental headspace, limit that to maybe once a day just to get your highlights from your trusted news sources quickly. Here on Gbkm, we try as much as possible to keep you updated with all of the facts that you need to ensure that you are staying safe and to ensure that you know what's going on in the world around you as well. Even though you're not able to be socially involved in the world, still knowing what's going on is important. But if you do need to limit your news exposure throughout the day to maybe once or twice checking in, if that means going off social media for a few hours a day just to reclaim your peace and reclaim your tranquility, your zen, whatever you want to call it, realign your chakras, whatever you want to call it, just take that time to take the break that you need from being so plugged into the world. And this is something that's been going on for so long. As we've become more reliant on technology, we're finding that it can have an effect on our moods. So unplugging ourselves and taking that time to just recenter, refocus on things that are important and matter to us. If that's spending time with family, if that's watching your favorite TV show, if that's faking your way into a laugh, or if that's working out and exercising, do whatever you need to do to feel that you are grounded and at peace within yourself. And it will help make for more zen environment, which will also help for those working at home to have the correct and productive work environment. Also, if you are feeling like your mood is getting a little lower, maybe look around your space. Maybe you can clean something up. Maybe your space is disorganized and that's affecting how you feel inside and you're feeling disorganized, or you're feeling like you're not as productive. So maybe get up and clean. And let me tell you, cleaning can be exercise, okay? You get that vacuum cleaner going for a few minutes, you're gonna feel a burn at some point. You start mopping, you start wiping things down, it's gonna feel a burn. Add some music and you can dance your way through cleaning, make it more enjoyable for those of you who don't enjoy it, myself included. If you do need to do some spring cleaning, just things, finding almost, it seems like mundane, mindless tasks that gets your mind off things for a little bit but gets you moving in some way is so important in this time, because the more we sit and slump in our couch, the more it really affects not just our physical but our mental health as well. So ensuring we're staying healthy all around, and drink your water. If you're taking that break every 3 minutes, every 30 minutes for 3 minutes, maybe that's the time that you're drinking a glass of water. That's the time that you remember to drink some water. Staying hydrated is so important. It's so easy when we're at home and we're sucked into something to forget that we need to stay hydrated and to forget that we're just thirsty. And sometimes we confuse that with being hungry. So you're finding yourself snacking some more. Try and drink some water instead, because maybe your body is really screaming out for some hydration and not for some more of those chips. And it will help you feel so much better, because then you'll feel more alert and awake and alive. And try this for a week and see how you feel overall. See how your body feels, see how your mind feels, see how you feel about tackling your tasks for the day. If you wake up in the morning picking 5 things or 3 things that you're grateful for in that morning, starting your days off with a sense of gratitude and appreciation can really put you in a great mindset and just to conquer the day ahead of you, even if you are stuck at home with nowhere to go. Now, we're going to move on to the different personalities that may be dealing with being in quarantine in different ways. For one, if you are an extrovert, you find yourself, you thrive on being social and out and about and being around people a lot of the time. Experts suggest that you stay active by walking, by biking, by hiking if possible, as well as doing exercises indoors. You see, all well-rounded, being physical can really, really help deal with your mental health. I'm telling you guys, it's the endorphins here. Release those endorphins, you're gonna feel so much better. You might even feel lighter and airier, and you're like, yes, I feel empowered to go about my day. Or if you're going to do it towards the end of the day, if you have the energy to do that and you feel, yes, I accomplished this thing at the end of my day or during my day, it's a really great tool to use. Exercising so important if you are an extrovert, experts say. Now, dancing as well is also a tip. Experts give extroverts, if you are missing going to the club on the weekend, turn your home into the club. And if you want to, as I've mentioned in previous chat ups, that calling your friends and video calling them and saying this is girls' night, let's do this. Getting on that Zoom conference call and being like girls' night or boys' night or whatever night, party night, having a party over Zoom, that is an option you have as well if you're really missing that social aspect of dancing. Or you can just dance alone in your room like nobody's watching. Have a time of your life. Again, releasing those endorphins, sparking joy, little things that you can do during the day that will just give you that little bit of an uplifting push to feel that you can continue going on about your day. And even though we are stuck in quarantine, there's no reason we can't find different ways to keep these days going and feeling like nothing's changed. We're getting used to our new normal, am I right? Now, another thing that experts also note is that while we may not be able to go on adventures per se, you can embark on different adventurous things. Say before you hated cooking and you relied solely on takeout or restaurants, maybe this is a time you can start testing out your culinary skills, testing out new recipes. There are so many recipes that are across social media. I mean, there's so many pages, just food pages alone. You could search them for hours on end. So if you find a recipe that you enjoy while you are on Instagram scrolling through those food pages, try it out. You know, who knows, maybe you can pick up a new skill if you want to do some DIY around the house, and that will help you put your mind and energy into something that will bring you joy at the end of the day or will have you feeling accomplished at the end of the day. Pick up these new hobbies, pick up these new tasks. You wanted to paint that shelf for a while, go on and paint it. If you wanted to pick up a new arts and craft project, maybe you want to brush up on your drawing skills, maybe you want to brush up on any other kind of skill. This could be an opportunity for you to do that if you are feeling up to it, of course. Some people aren't interested in starting or taking up a new skill, and that's perfectly fine. This is for those who are looking for things that they can do and run out of ideas. Honestly, if you just search information about something that you've been dying to do, if that's picking up a new language as well, there are apps across the board that will help you to do that. Anything that can keep you busy if you miss the rush of being busy all the time and always having something to do, picking up a new hobby will help you take some time during the day. I guess you can say waste time during the day to help you feeling like you are still in control of your life and it's bringing you joy. Do it. Do it by all means. Now, for those of you who are introverts, some may be enjoying this time alone, that you are being told to stay in your house and it's everything that you love to do. However, it's also important to remember that introverts may be dealing with some anxieties, especially if you have scheduled every minute and an hour of your day to do some Zoom calls, phone calls to catch up with friends and families and loved ones. That is giving you some anxiety or making you feel overwhelmed, maybe cutting back on those phone calls, communicating to those people that, listen, this is time for me, this is what I'm doing, this is how my day goes, this is when I have the energy to talk and have these conversations, this is when I don't. Being open and honest about that, just recognizing that if that is something that's giving you cause for anxiety or just making you feel overwhelmed in any way, just voicing that and saying like, I'm okay. Or you could do the old-fashioned way of just screening people's calls and not picking up until you're good, well, and ready. But it's important now, since we're not all together and not able to just check on one another like we used to, just staying informed to ensure that you're safe and healthy and fine. But if you don't want to have those lengthy phone calls, or if you want to hang up, don't worry, we got you real soon. We're going to be talking about those tips to hang up the phone when you're done with the conversation. That can help our introverts out there who are being overwhelmed by all the phone calls that may be coming in, or overwhelmed by the influx of people want to be social through technologies and finding different ways to be social. The overwhelming amount of socialization online may be having effect on your mental health space. So if you can do things during the day that give you joy, watching TV, turning off your phone, just taking a nap, do that. No matter what time of day, if you wake up at 8 and decide you want to take a nap at 11, do what you need to do to ensure that you are happy and you are comfortable and you are in a space and environment that makes you feel happy and comfortable as well. Cleaning is also a great help as well. Even if you're an introvert or extrovert, it's something to do, and cleaning up your space and your environment around you can really have an effect on your mental headspace. So Another thing is that experts, as I mentioned, suggest that too much stimulation can lead to introverts feeling tired, unhappy, maybe even inauthentic. So just staying true to yourself and knowing what your limits are, how much you can take, how much you can handle, and saying no is so important for you as well, just to be able to feel like you're feeling good and you're not feeling unhappy or feeling tired or lethargic throughout the day because you feel that you're expelling more energy than you're used to. Reclaim your energy, okay? It's so important right now that we all protect our energies and do everything to ensure that we're all feeling just good, well, all around, mentally, physically, everything is good. So if that means putting those phone calls on the back burner for a little bit, do what you got to do, okay? Now, for the perfectionists who want everything to seem like it's perfect, especially during quarantine, wanting to have control of all situations, experts say that it's important at this time to be kind to yourself and know that just good enough is good enough. And adopting a mindset that doing your best for the day is good enough, especially now in a time of uncertainty when we don't really know when it's going to end. Holding on to old habits that might be affecting your mental health now, it's time to let go of those and adopt new habits that can help you feeling good all across the board. So perfectionists, strive for good enough. Now, for some people, what is good enough is obviously subjective, and so for some people, being perfect is just good enough. But taking this time to just be kind to yourself and knowing that everyone is going through something or another at this time, and that you're not in this alone, and that you do have some kind of support system out around you if you do really need to. For anyone, extrovert, introvert, perfectionist, just calling up on a loved one and someone that you trust to let them know how you're feeling and just to vent a little bit. This is a time that we can all show each other empathy and be compassionate to everyone dealing with this in different ways. And compassion is especially important when you're living with people of various, whether it's an extrovert living with an introvert or an introvert living with an extrovert. Experts say that communication is the most important thing. If you find that there's tension because your ways of dealing with the day aren't meshing, someone's on a conference call while someone else will be watching TV during the day, or napping while someone else is watching TV, and that's causing tension within the household. The best course of action first is to communicate with your quarantine buddy to let them know how your day normally runs. Again, it's important to have some kind of schedule, not just for you to feel productive and to stick to so that you're hitting all your to-dos for the day, but for those that you are with to also have an idea of when you would need that quiet time, when you would need that alone time, when you would need time together, so that you're all understanding and respecting each other's space and boundaries. It's so important to communicate this. Even if you're both extroverts and you're extroverts, at some point you're stuck together with nowhere else to go. There's only so much room to allow all that extroverted energy out. So just having the communication line open between those who are living together, just a basic understanding of what will help you feel the most safe and comfortable in your home and environment that you're going to be stuck in for at least until May 12th, as we know in Ontario. So again, communication is key. Let them know how you're feeling as well if you find that there's a behavior that you don't like. Now, don't go up to them being shady about it. No passive aggressive leaving sticky notes around. It may feel a little confrontational, but at the end of the day, again, as I mentioned, it's so important to be compassionate and empathetic to each other, especially in this time. So just going about it is like, listen, hey, this is what I need from you, and also like, what do you need from me to ensure that we can live and cohabitate with some level of peace and organization in this household as we're all stuck self-isolating, quarantining, whatever have you. Communicating your feelings is so important as well. Now, part of making a schedule is also making a plan. So making a plan of what course of action you would like to take. If say there's a day that you're feeling your best, you're in a little bit of a mood, having that talk and open line of communication where there's like a listen, if I'm feeling this way, this is what I need. Really talking about your love languages right now may be more important than anything else. So if you are a words of affirmation person, or if you're a physical touch, or acts of service, or gift giving, whatever your love language is, right now may be a time to figure it out and also communicate that to whoever you're living with so that they also understand where you're coming from on that level when you want to spend that quality time with them. It's because this is how you show your love and affection for someone, or it's how you also let off stress, is being around someone else and having the company of someone. So if you're an extrovert who loves the company of someone else, but you're with an introvert who loves to be alone, maybe that just means sitting on opposite ends of the couch watching the same movie, maybe not directly on top of each other, just being in the space with each other. That might be enough, and that's a compromise that you can reach and a common ground you can reach that can help you reach harmony within while being under the same roof. So again, communication. At the end of the day, the most important thing is just to be open and honest with those that you're living with. Now, moving on to our next little topic to talk about, how to hang up the phone when you have nowhere to go. What are your excuses? What are the excuses you guys are using to hang up the phone? At this point, honestly, I've reached the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta go make dinner, or I have to go eat dinner, because I've decided that going the culinary route is how I am going to get rid of all of my energy. So making dinner is now a big show. I start at 4 and I eat dinner at 6. Yes, it takes 2 hours because I take my time to figure out what I want to eat. I plan a whole meal because it gives me joy to be able to feed myself. So that is an excuse that I use. I gotta go make dinner, or I gotta go eat dinner, or I have everyone is scheduling Zoom meetings at any time because we're all stuck at home. But one Twitter user decided to tweet this question out to her followers, and the responses that she got back were so good that I had to share them with you. And maybe you can use this as an excuse to get off the phone when you are tired but you have nowhere to go. So one suggestion that came up was, all right, I'll let you go. So it's like you are being courteous to their time. Like, I understand you're busy, so I'm gonna go let you go now and go on about your day, making them feel like, I got you, don't worry, I'm here for you, I understand what you got going on, what you're dealing with, so I'm gonna let you go. Now that's an option, saying, all right, I'll let you go now. Another option is, my phone is gonna die. And since this is really one of the only tools of communication that we have now, if your phone dies, there's no way you can really talk to anybody, right? So charging that is a must, and you can't be having a conversation on the phone while your phone's charging. So there's another little excuse that you can use. Now, I am not condoning lying to people you care about. Truth and open and honest communication is so important. But if you have been going on and the conversation is getting stale, and you just cannot find a way to get off the phone with someone in particular, some of these are harmless ways with some semi-truths that you can use to get off the phone. So you're not really hurting anybody's feelings. It's just you want to go do something else now. Maybe you want to go watch TV and they're taking up that time and you can't hear the TV well. These are some things that you can use to get off the phone. And it's just funny ways that we are getting accustomed to our new everyday life in quarantine. Now, another user said something that's worked for them is, okay, I'm done. And that's an honest, like, okay, I'm done with this conversation now. Bye, love you. That's a great way to end it. It's honest, it's straight to the point. You're not doing that whole preamble of where you say the goodbyes for like another 5 minutes. You know the ones that I'm talking about. Like when you go somewhere with your parents and they say that it's time to go home, but they're stuck talking for 30 minutes in the doorway. No one likes that, especially on the phone. No one likes that elongated goodbyes. This is short, sweet, to the point. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye now. And you're done. There you go. Now, another option was, okay, I'm going to jump in the shower. A lot of people have been coming out talking about how hygiene has been bottom of the list during this period of quarantine. Though hygiene is really important, and staying clean and staying healthy and staying fresh is very important also for your mental health, because in the shower, the steam, if you want to add some like oils in there that help, like eucalyptus oils, it helps to really just like clean and cleanse you. Feels great. So a good option, good excuse, if you will, if you want to call it that, is I got to go to the shower. I got to jump in the shower, which you could have used before now, but especially great now in quarantine. Now, those are some tips and tricks on how you can hang up the phone of a conversation that has ended a long time ago, but one of the parties just isn't getting the message in a polite way, just letting them know, okay, it's time to go now. And then you end the conversation. Now, unfortunately, we are going to have to end our conversation. I'm gonna have to let you go, but before that, I gotta go shower, I gotta go make dinner, I gotta go, okay, I'm done now. Whichever one of those you wanna use from the list. But always remember, it's so important to stay safe, and it's so important to remember why we are socially distancing at this point. It's to ensure that we are flattening the curve and we're stopping the amount of cases that are rising every single day, stopping the spread of the coronavirus. And I know it's a time that some people are feeling that they want to protest this stay-at-home order, but it's so important to remember why we are doing it. We are doing it for those who are vulnerable in our communities. We're doing it for our frontline workers so that they can get the break that they deserve, who are working endlessly and tirelessly to help treat patients who are confirmed COVID patients, and also just patients who are in the hospital for other reasons as well. And it's to ensure that all our communities stay safe. So wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, 6 feet apart. Remember, no physical touches, no public gatherings of more than 5 people. You know, we go through these every week, but I just want to make sure we're remembering and doing all of this just to stay safe. And more tips: staying hydrated, getting the exercise you need, making sure that your mental health and physical health are in the best shape possible, and doing all we can to ensure that all our communities are staying safe. And once again, we stand with the victims of the Nova Scotia shooting. If you want to join in with the virtual vigil, that will be happening on April 24th, Friday at 7 p.m. You can to pay your dues to those and show your solidarity for the community dealing with this grief right now. And on that note, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in and chatting it up with me today. As always, you can keep up with the GBKM network by listening live 24/7 at www.gbkm.fm. You can watch our shows live on Facebook and YouTube at GBKM TV, where you can like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff to join in the conversation. You can follow me, your host, Elizabeth, on Instagram and Twitter at TIS_Liz_O, and you can follow GBKM on Twitter at GBKM_FM, and on Instagram at GBKMFM. And with that, I will let you go. I hope that you stay safe and take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the same time, same place next week. Take care.
The bad news is that everyone is a potential victim, but the good news is that everyone is a potential solution. Sensitize the masses to sanitize, keep a social distance and quarantine. Stop!
The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted.
Omulwadde wa corona temubuzanyisa bange.
Kila mtu
Good afternoon, live from Toronto on the GBKM network. This is the Chat Up Show, the show where we talk about any and everything to do with popular culture. I'm your host, Elizabeth Aloidi, and I hope that you are ready to chat it up with me today. Now, as always, you can keep up with the GBKM network in various ways. You can listen to our radio 24/7 at www.gbkm.fm. You can follow us on Instagram at GBKMFM and on Twitter at GBKM_FM. And you can watch all our shows live on Facebook and like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff at GBKM TV, and to watch as well on YouTube at GBKM TV. Now, We in Ontario are halfway through our 6th week of lockdown, and it's starting to feel like quarantining is becoming some sort of a routine. We're figuring out how we're going to navigate this new normal in our life, in our everyday lives. But as we are social human beings and we love to be around people socially and just have those social interactions that we're missing and longing, we are going to be giving some tips and treatments courtesy of the WHO on how you can manage another 3 weeks or so in quarantine without feeling like you just want to rip the walls down and get out of there, okay? And we're also going to be giving some expert advice on how different personalities can manage handling together in one house under one roof. So if you feel that your quarantine buddy is starting to get on your nerves a little bit, don't worry. We have some tips on how you can manage to squash any beefs you may be experiencing during this time of lockdown and social distancing. We're also going to be talking about the different ways we can hang up the phone. Now, people have nowhere to go, so we're running out of excuses of what to say when we want to hang up the phone and end that conversation. So don't worry, we got you later on in the show, but now we're going to slow things down a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a somber mood as we pay our respects to those who lost their lives in the Nova Scotia shooting that happened over the weekend, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Going to be giving you a few more details about how the investigation's going. Though the suspect was shot down Sunday at the scene, there is some more investigations to be done of the victims whose lives were taken, and some more updates on how many lives were lost, unfortunately, in that incident. And next, we're also going to be talking about treatments for COVID-19, the treatments that doctors have been prescribing, that a certain president has also put his foot behind, saying it is essential to start using this course of treatments. However, there are studies that have been released and published showing that some courses of treatments might actually have more of a detrimental effect than be a benefit to treating the COVID-19 pandemic and patients who are confirmed with the virus. So we're going to be talking about what that study says, giving you a little rundown of what doctors and experts are encouraging folks to do if they do show symptoms of the virus. Now, this might be something you've been hearing a lot lately. The name of this particular drug that has recently been recommended, as I mentioned, by a certain president, and that is by US President Donald Trump. It is the use of hydroxychloroquine to help treat COVID-19. Now, President Trump tweeted on March 21st, saying hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, which is another drug, antibiotic to be specific, that is being tested to see if it works with hydroxychloroquine to help treat the virus. So he tweeted, hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin taken together have a real chance to be one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. He went on to also tweet, the FDA has moved mountains. Thank you. Now, this tweet was to show appreciation and to show that there is some investigation being looked at different ways that we can treat this pandemic and treat the virus in patients who are confirmed cases of COVID-19. However, there is a recent study that shows it might not be as beneficial as President Trump tweeted it would be in treating COVID-19. Hydroxychloroquine, which is a drug that is originally used to treat and prevent malaria, help to treat lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. With the news of this drug helping treat COVID-19, folks were out purchasing and stockpiling the medication at unprecedented rates, leaving those who originally use it
good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening or watching from in the world. Of course, welcome back to the U-Turned Up Show right here on Gbkm FM. Of course, I'm your host, Romain Redman, and don't forget, this is where we aim to inform, empower, and also energize today's youth. If you're joining us and you were here with us last week, of course, welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us for the very first time, of course, welcome to the U-Turned Up Show. Don't forget, our platforms are on Facebook at Gbkm TV, on YouTube at Gbkm TV. Also get us on our website, www.gbkm.fm. You can also get us on a TuneIn app. It's Gbkm, and you can also download our app from our website, and of course, take us with you wherever you go in the world. That's right, but of course, the U-Turned Up Show is brought to you by the kind sponsorship of AOF Immigration Canada, who specialize in all your immigration needs, ranging from the Quebec University Program, permanent residency, student visa, whatever your immigration needs may be, they have you covered. So, of course, contact AOF Immigration for your confidential and private consultation. Their phone number is 416-629-4617. You can also send them an email at info@aofimmigration.com. You can also visit their offices. That's, of course, if you're in Ontario. They're located at 5800 Ambler Drive in Mississauga, Ontario. So, of course, last week on the show, we discussed the state of Ontario's education system. I was kind enough to be joined by a member of Parliament, provincial Parliament, that is, Ms. Merit Stiles, who is also the education critic with the official opposition, and so many information was unpacked in that interview as to how to make the system more equitable, as she said, going forward. But this week, of course, we take a different path as we discuss the issue addressing anti-black racism in our society. I know for a fact that we've all been tuned in to the television, to social media, and we've seen what has been unraveling in our society. So today, we're going to get those tangible tips, those tangible tools, how to make things like these don't reoccur in the future, as also how to make them better while we aim for that equitable and that perfect world which so many of our forefathers have told us about, have dreamt about in their prophecies. But of course, we'll take a very first break here on the U-Turned Up Show, but we'll be right back with so much more right after these messages. We'll soon be back.
As the world fights this coronavirus, we are standing together as a family.
My name is Kemi. I'm a fan of Gbkm.
My name is Pastor Clement Omozane.
I'm Medea, your red carpet host.
I am your host, Ellen Roxon, for the show Talk That Talk here on Gbkm FM.
I'm a mother and a teacher. I stand with everyone at this time.
Hi, my name is Gbkm, co-host of the King's Domain.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lloydie, the host of the Chat-Up Show on GBKM.
My name is Kenny Bazwai, President and CEO, GBKM FM and TV. We stand with all the communities affected by this pandemic.
As the world.
Absolutely, and welcome back to the U-Turned Up Show right here on Gbkm FM. Of course, I'm your host, Romain Redman, and you're locked into the hour from 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. And as you've seen going across on the screen down below, today's topic, one which is ever so relevant for discussion in our society, and it doesn't seem to stop going forward, having those discussions, having those pertinent and constructive discussions. It's addressing anti-black racism in our society. We spoke about it on last week's show. In relation to our education system, this week we take it to a bigger scale. And of course, in studios with me this week to help break down that conversation is, of course, our PhD candidate and the coordinator for the Center of Integrative Anti-Racism Studies at the Ontario Institute of Studies in Education, Miss Janelle Brady. But of course, Miss Brady, thank you so much for joining me on the show here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really happy to be here today with you, Romain. I really appreciate all the work that you're doing at GBKFM and for taking time to invite me on the show. Thank you.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. You know, as a media outlet which serves the grassroots black community, we can't bypass issues like these that affect us, but of course, we can't bypass those pertinent and relevant discussion as to how to make our communities better and stronger going forward, right? I know for a fact in your studies we're just discussing going forward your work in the education system, black parenting, and all those amazing stuff. But today we're gonna stretch a net a little wider today and try to encapsulate especially our community of black men, black women, younger generation, older generation into this discussion. But before we venture into today's discussion though, I want to just share with us the work that you've been doing at the Center for Integrative Anti-Black Racism Studies.
Yes, thank you. So I've had the pleasure of working as a coordinator in a volunteer capacity and sometimes as a student researcher for the past 4 years, really.
Yes.
And the director is Dr. George Day, who is very renowned. He is a leading scholar in anti-racism studies, African indigenous knowledge, and race studies overall.
Yes.
So I'm very, very fortunate and blessed to work under his directorship. And some of the work that we've looked at is how do we address anti-racism. But this center has been around since 1996, and the approach that they take, that we take as a collective, because it's really a group of a ton of volunteers, is we look at anti-racism, but from an integrative perspective. So when we say that, we mean, what do we mean, right? We mean, how does race connect to gender? How does race connect to disability? How does it connect to place of birth, nationality, religion, language, sexuality, sexual orientation? How do all of these things intersect? And how do they make people have unique lived experiences, right?
Yes.
So one of the notable things that Sears has been able to do is to organize the Decolonizing Conference. And this is going back to the late 90s.
Yes.
And I worked with a wonderful a colleague, I was going to say counterpart, but a colleague, Ezi Odozor. And Ezi keeps me in check, she keeps me in line, and she's a wonderful Black woman who's done tons of work behind the scenes. So I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge her work in recreating and reimagining better education for our Black children and Black youth, and what that might look like from a decolonizing perspective. Like, how can we really move forward based on the work that our elders have done to just carry that through, right? So the last decolonizing...
So the decolonizing angle you look at this from, break that part down for us in your explanation, please.
Yeah, so that's a very important part because it really relates back to the project of colonization. And the project of colonization has really had an effect on Black people, Latinx people, Indigenous people. It's really ruptured our lives for generations. So in order to move forward, a lot of scholars have taken, and activists have taken the approach that we need a decolonial approach. We need to decolonize these systems because although we no longer have colonial flags waving and hanging, the pieces are still there within the institutions and also within people, right? So that's really that mindset and also that change to institutions that we need to have. Yeah.
Absolutely. But the term anti-Black racism, the phrase, the term, it's a power-packed and a multifaceted phrase, which one can easily be swayed in a direction which doesn't encapsulate the full magnitude to which this phrase extends. So I want you to give us sort of like that comprehensive understanding of what it means, anti-Black racism, how the facets that are associated with anti-Black racism, and how it manifests itself in our society.
Yeah, so in order to think about anti-Black racism because it's not anything that's new, right? The term is not very new. Dr. Benjamin brought forth the term in 2003, but Black mothers and community activists have brought up this term way back to the 60s, right, as well. So now it's coming more and more into the mainstream, but I'm really glad you raised that question. Because in order to think about anti-Blackness, I turn to some of the work of Dr. George Day, Nana Day, where he says we need to think of Blackness as a political tool, right? So some folks who are old enough to know about how people who would be considered brown, quote unquote, in Canada, call themselves Black in the UK. And why did they do that? They did that because they were standing in solidarity and full support. They weren't saying, I'm not Black, I'm brown, I'm different, right? They're saying, we need to connect our struggle and your struggle, and we need to take up Blackness as a political tool. So even for Black people, some folks would say, well, I'm not Black, right? Or if you're Caribbean, me coming from Caribbean background, Jamaican Trini, some folks would say, I'm not African.
And African is the hallmark for Blackness. And especially in terms of like colorism, it's that scale of moving from African to being mixed, right?
Exactly. And that's part and parcel to the project of colonization, right? It's not only the ravaging of the land, slavery, removing people from Africa, bringing them to the Americas, the islands, and to the U.S., doing all of these horrible atrocities. But it's also the impact that it's had on our communities as Black people. We really need to talk about that too. The ways that anti-Black racism manifests. And so going back to Nana Day, he would say that, rather than Africans saying I'm not Black, Caribbean saying I'm not African, we need to just rethink Blackness and just use it as a tool, and not shy away from race, not shy away from conversations of Blackness, and just really take that up as a community, as a collective, as we have done in the past, as we continue to do, push forward in that struggle.
So you made mention of an important facet of our conversation today, collectivization in terms of Black people, as you said, whether you're African, whether you're Caribbean, whether you are a Black Canadian, really coming together and knowing the power of that unity. And I think that's often the criticism that the community also gets in terms of we're one of the most disunited or ununited race that exists, because we're always matched, especially in the Canadian context, against other races, whites or let's say our South Asian counterparts who have much more closely knitted family units, which many persons have said is missing from the Black community.
Yeah, so I want to pick up on that point. So